Good Monday morning. We are off to the races this week. John Granado's out today. He is out tomorrow. But sitting in his place is Del Olaleya. And the talented Sam Rico is behind the glass today as our producer. So from intern to producer, the circle of life. And that's how it's supposed to work, Del. You go from intern to producer, then you stay there.
Why
for
are you
about
talking to me like that?
14 years.
As if I didn't do
fight
this.
through a couple of dismissals, and you come back and you.
Oh, so you're actually
Well, your
reading off my
redemption
bio. Oh, you're reading my bio is what you're doing.
It's your redemption arc. It's your redemption
Have I been
arc.
redeemed?
Yeah, you've been redeemed.
Okay.
You've been redeemed. John isn't here. He'd have some kind of nonsense about how the Astros are actually in good shape.
Yeah. Oddly enough, a good team comes to town and they lose 2 out of 3.
Yeah, it's amazing how this works. How I'm just curious when the sample size tells you that this is what it is. Houston Astros lose 4-3 yesterday. They had a 3-2 lead. Hunter Brown, who actually had a good game.
Do you want to take some blame for what happened? The minute you complimented Hunter Brown, he gives up a game-tying home run? Do you want to take credit for that?
I was hoping people wouldn't notice that on the timeline, and they noticed it.
Oh, I bet you. They did.
I said, I like Hunter Brown's redemption arc or something like that, and then Miranda hits a rocket into the fuel pump, and it goes 3-3. Now, I did not say anything about Ryan Presley, and he still did Ryan Presley stuff. Tied 3-3 in the 8th, Ryan Presley gives up a run, as he is wont to do, with his 1.61 whip this year. Ryan Presley's 5.24 ERA. He hasn't been terrible lately, but doesn't really matter when he's had such a bad year. And the Twins get their 4th run of the game, and that's all she wrote because the Astros aren't scoring a bunch of runs. As a matter of fact, in the last 11 games, and 7 out of the last 11 games that the Astros have played, they have scored 3 runs or less in 7 of their last 11, including 4 games with 1 run. 4 games with 1 run. This is a team that actually has Yordan, Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, Yainer Diaz, Jeremy Pena, Jose Altuve, and they have scored 1 run in 4 of their last 11. They've scored 2 runs twice in their last 11 and then 3 runs once. So 7 of 11, they've scored 3 runs or less. Make it worse, in 6 of the last 11, they've scored 2 runs or less. Terrible. Since they won 6 straight games and 8 of 9, where everyone thought this is the comeback, and I heard all this stuff about Eric Layden's taps game. He played taps, and then the Astros are really good because he played taps. Okay, well, what is it now? Because they're 6-9 in their last 15. They've lost 3 of the last 4 series that they have played. And now you play the Cardinals. The Cardinals come in town. This is a game that John would tell you, you circle, they're a bad team. We're a worse team. The Houston Astros are now 26-34. Cardinals are 28-29. They're a better team than the Astros. The Astros suck right now. And that's what it is. And there's, we can silver lining this thing that Hunter Brown got a quality start if you want. But you can't win 2 out of 3 and have me all of a sudden back on the train if I'm the Astros. Like, I'm not off the train. I certainly want the Astros to do well, but I'm not stupid enough to fool myself into believing they're just – I don't like a player away or – yeah, in theory, these guys could get clicking, Dell. In theory, these guys could all start to hit. But there has been no sign this year of pitching and hitting coinciding for even a month.
Yeah, it's a weird thing for people to latch on to a 3-game series when the Astros play well and go, well, let's strike up the band. Things are turning around.
It's usually to the A's.
Well, we know they're lamb killers. They have been awful against teams who we would consider good, dominant against the likes of the Rockies and the A's. But baseball people will tell you it's a long season. It's a long season. Then why are we using a series against the A's where you win it to think it's a turnaround when all the other evidence in this long season, although it's been compared to the entirety of it, a short run, says they're bad? I mean, it's a small sample size, I guess, even though it keeps getting larger and larger as the games go by. But the sample size we have says if a bad team comes to town, the Astros have a shot to win the series. Your sample size is 60. You turn your mic back on.
Your sample size is 60. So, Sam,
yes.
When you do radio, this is something I was going to tell you. If you push the off mic, if you're a host, then you push the on mic again when you're a host.
Yeah,
so
something you should learn.
we're going to teach Sam how to do radio as we
When are we
going
to teach you how to do it?
Well, some of the stuff I'm going to do intentionally. I'm going to bring it to the forefront so she recognizes what to do and what not to do.
Keep your mic on when you're talking.
That's how you learn. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this is not a series against the A's isn't going to matter to me right now. You're really going to have, for me to think that you're back on track. It's going to take about a 12 to 14 game run probably. And there are some things I like. I mean, Spencer Arrighetti he's really coming into his own. Hunter Brown has looked like a different pitcher. Hunter Brown is better. Hunter Brown is the guy who'd be a fifth starter. Like, he's legitimately, in his last 5 starts, for example, Hunter Brown has gone 6 innings the last 3 outings in a row. He had 5 and 5 before that. That counts as a major win for the Astros. I mean, especially for Hunter. Now, he's going to give up his runs early in the game. He did it again in the first and second. He did again in the sixth is where he gave them up. There were single scores. But Hunter's going to give up early runs. If he could somehow find a way to get past that hump, because he really does settle into a groove. Yesterday, he had 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. In 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, but he gave up 2 home runs is the problem. The game before that, 9 strikeouts and 6 innings pitched. You had 3 and 6, 5 and 5, 7 and 5. I'm doing strikeouts and innings pitched. But when you look at what Hunter Brown has done, he's definitely come around. So he's better. But I did jinx him yesterday by saying I like the redemption arc and something like that. And then immediately Miranda rockets one for a home run. And somebody called me a dork and
well,
for being a jinx.
A jinx
like that.
Jinx feels more apt than dork.
Yeah.
In that
way
instance.
to jinx it, dork.
that's
like,
a little strong.
I was like, man, why does dork hit so hard?
It's because
I don't know. John called his client. He kept calling him a real estate nerd and a mortgage nerd. Then he said mortgage dork.
Yeah.
And I said, I bet you won't call him a dork.
Yeah.
And during the commercial, he called him a
dork.
A
is worse. Nerd
and the guy said, hey, dork's too far.
Yeah. Nerd at this point, you can consider that not so bad. Nerds kind of, comic books, sci-fi stuff. There's a place for nerds in popular culture.
Yeah.
There's no place for dorks in popular culture.
There's none. There's nothing that you can't even smooth it out yourself to say that's kind of a I actually take it as a compliment.
You call me a nerd. I'm like, yeah, I like video games. I like comic book movies. I'll take that. You call me a dork, I got nothing for you.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah. Dork's not great.
No.
I guess one thing so here's what it looks like. You got the Cardinals coming to town. There's a 3-game set starting today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's going to be a 7-10, 7-10, and 1-10 games. Here's who you're going to go see if you're going to the games. You got Justin Verlander tonight, Spencer Arrighetti tomorrow, and then Ronel Blanco is it's an ESPN game at 1:10 or ESPN Plus. I don't know if that just means regular ESPN or not, but anyway, that's Blanco.
Is Beth Mowins calling the game?
I don't know. We'll have to find
ESPN
out.
Plus.
We'll have to find out.
The Astros are the Purdue and Indiana Major League Baseball right now?
Well, it could be. It could be. Northwestern takes on Indiana. Beth Mullins here with you with Trev Alberts.
At 11 a.m.
Not Trev Alberts. Who's, I can't remember who gets that slot now. Somebody just coming up. So you got that, and then you go to the Angels. You get a day off, and then you go to the Angels. So right now all we're looking at is Verlander, Arrighetti, and Blanco. I mean, at some point you're going to start sweeping series. It's not going to be enough to take 2 out of 3. And at some point you're also just going to have to win series and win games at home. So good news is Alex Bregman has been on a bit of a roll now. For the last 6 games, Alex Bregman is 10 of 24. He's had 4 home runs in his last 6 games, 7 RBIs. He's 10 of 24. He looks very good in his last 6. A couple games ago, you had Jordan hit a couple of bombs in the game, so that was nice to see. But when it comes down to just putting big runs up and overcoming, adversity when you give up leads, it's something that's not happening right now for them. And that's, this is unfortunately turning out to be a season where I don't think you're going to see an ALCS, Dell, and I think at some point you're going to have to start having some tough conversations about keep the team together or not.
Well, keep the team together. I don't know if the Astros really have a choice in the matter when it comes to the guy you just laid out with Bregman. It feels like no matter what happens, he's leaving. And then the question that
keep the team together for the year.
Okay. Oh, well, that's what I was. I was bringing
Right.
that up when it comes to Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker is a great player. You would love to have him beyond this year next. But the Astros, do you feel like they are going to switch the way they think about things and say, you know what, it's prudent to move our All-Star and MVP candidate? Do you think that's something this organization can come to that realization, considering what Jim Crane has said in the past? As long as I'm here, we're always going to be trying to compete. It would be a departure to go sell off your best player.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I think it would be. I think the conversation should be had, but to be honest with you, I don't see them changing who they are and what they do. And I think Jim Crane sees them. You know, this is probably correct. He probably sees them as a team that's got a chance to come up in a softer division and still win the division. And yeah, in theory, that's true. But I'm just trying to lay out the realities of who the Astros are. I know who they could be, but I'm dealing with who they are. And I am old enough to remember, and I know it's not. Look, I know the Astros, 20 was a bad year. It was COVID. They were a bad baseball team. We forget it because they went to the quote-unquote playoffs in baseball. Just scratch that whole year out. Ever since 2000, really, 17, they have been solid. I mean, they get to the ALCS. They've been a good team. But 2016, they didn't get to the playoffs. And I understand you have to remember, all those teams that got to the playoffs in the ALCS, they're slowly whittling all these players away. And this season is like the 2000 season for the Astros. For some of you, you won't recognize it, but for others, you will. Where the Astros had been coming off of, really competitive 98. Their 98 team was maybe the best in baseball, and they didn't even get past the Padres. 99, they were good again. They lost a tough one to the Braves. Then in 20, they went to NRG. They went to it wasn't Minute Maid. It was Enron Stadium when Enron first opened, and they just had a disastrous year. Jose Lima was terrible. They ended up trading him by mid-year. You had Craig Biggio tore his ACL. It was just not meant to be. And then the next year they got back on track, and they played good baseball, and it led to an ALCS in 2004 and a World Series appearance in 2005. So I've seen this before, where you have a good stretch of baseball, and then all of a sudden it just goes off the rail a year. I think that's what you're in the middle of right now. I've seen this before, and I don't think it's just going to straighten itself out. I think relying on 41-year-old pitcher to all of a sudden turn back into a Cy Young Award winner, which is what you need right now. I mean, I'm excited about Hunter Brown going 6 innings and giving up 3 runs, but this team was built on dominant Verlander, dominant Fromber, dominant Christian Javier at one point. If it wasn't him, it was going to be, somebody else dominating as your third starter, and that's not what this team is now. And at some point, you just have to be honest about, when a team shows you who they are, you have to be honest about who they are. Now, I'm not telling anyone to jump off the bandwagon and not support the Astros, because I'm seeing a lot of that, and I don't think that's how it goes. But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any more about, I will admit 8 out of 9 look good, but when they play good teams, they just aren't good.
And we're 60 games in, so 102 left, and you're now 7.5 out. Since we played the games we're only 4.5 out behind Seattle. And that was just a couple weeks ago. And what could we do if we have a good road trip? Well, it didn't go well, particularly in Seattle. And now, after losing the series to the Twins, you're 7.5 games back, and it's not a death sentence. Even beyond all the Astros lore, the tombstone stuff, and fighting and the history of fighting back. And really, I don't want to use the terminology the Astros use because I think it's ridiculous. But there is evidence of these players being better in the past. I think I'm there with you when it comes to, at some point, the run ends. It doesn't mean it's over permanently, but sometimes there's a year when things don't go the way you want them to.
I'll be honest with you. I think this is up to Jim Crane and Dana Brown and Jeff and whoever else decides these things. I think the run only gets extended if you start moving players and you start getting some minor leaguers who are studs. I think that's the only way it gets extended, because the minor league system, I mean, if you believe, and I know that John and I differ on this, but I tend to believe the people who do this for a living, like Baseball America and ESPN's scouting department, they give the Astros one player in the top 100 in the minor league system. one player in the top 100. So I like low profito like everyone else, but they've got to start restocking somewhere, because this run is you're going to lose Bregman, and now you're going to look for like who's the next guy that you can have.
Are you talking about the low profito they don't play?
Yeah, I'm talking about that guy. I'm talking about minor league low profito.
They decided we've had enough of you. We're going to give it one more go with our awful first baseman.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about it on this show. Did you see what the Space Cowboys did and and then immediately had to delete because it got too much attention?
When we come back, we'll do that. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, wait, Dels, that one, the Astros had to have stepped in.
Of course. Someone had to have a conversation.
We'll tell you what happened with the Space Cowboys. It's 7:15. I want to tell you about Allstate Windows and Siding. There's a lot of you out there who took some window damage. I know there was over 4,000 windows broken in downtown Houston during the tornado. And for some of you, those heavy winds or maybe even debris from trees or whatever may have hit a window, cracked the window, broken windows in your home. There's a good chance you've already gotten those fixed, or at least you've made phone calls. But I do want to remind you that Allstate Windows and Siding are here for you at all times. They are a company that has been run by the family, like 3 generations, 4 different family members have run this over the time. There's 2 of them, a brother and sister, who run it right now. Their name means something. Their business means something to them. They want to make sure that the name it has the same level of confidence from the consumer and the same great reviews year in and year out. And the reason's simple. They give you a great price, but they also use very good product. They use windows from the state of Texas, built right here for Texas weather by people who understand what we deal with. Yeah, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, droughts. We got it all, and that's what Allstate Windows and Siding are here to help you with. Double pane, double strength windows that add safety, add security, and add efficiency for your energy bills. That's what I'm talking about. They should always be the number that you are calling when it comes to window replacement and siding jobs. AllStateWindowsandSiding.com. Mention you heard it from Lance Zerline. Get a big discount. AllStateWindowsandSiding.com.
Studios with John. You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance
on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
It's Lance, Dell, and Sam. All right, Dell is in there working with Sam. This is Sam's first time producing a real show. She's produced Dell's show before, but that's kind of like a preseason basketball game. There's no one watching, so this is Sam's first time producing a real show, and she's learning how to produce. So you had a little dead air there. So we're working with her. We're getting her up to speed. Sam, turn your mic on. Can you hear me? Oh, headphones on. Here we go. All right, Sam. This is your first time on a real show? It's a scary time for you. You've done
scared.
Dell's show before, like an NBA preseason game.
Well, no, Sean was in there with her.
Mm-hmm. This is your first time by yourself. How's it been so far? First 22 minutes.
It's been good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear
We
you.
can hear you.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I'm about to crap my pants, but it's fine.
That's okay. You crap your pants. That's not a problem.
Well, it's a bit of a problem.
My wife is listening to Colin Jost's book on tape.
Okay.
He's crapped his pants like he said he does it twice a year. I guess he's got some kind of stomach problem. And I know it's not great to talk about. I won't tell you all the stories, but he's got a story that is so funny in there. I was dying laughing when she played it on the audiobook. So, good. You're going to make some mistakes in there. That's fine. We're here. Like, this is the thing. John would scream at you, but I am patient. I don't have problems with people learning on the go. It's not a problem. Thank God you didn't do the show for Charlie and Rich.
Well, forget about it.
Because any dead air and they would have been furious. These guys are not happy about anything with producers. But Dell and I are easy.
Very calm.
Now, do you think you can handle what did you learn this weekend? You and the intern are going to have to work on.
Yeah, I might have to just,
step out,
coach a little bit.
Yeah, you may have to. We're not the stars of that segment anyway.
No, it's the listeners, the callers.
Right. We're still doing that at 7:45. Dell and I ran into an intern that's a little interesting. Shady, maybe. I'm not sure.
Shady is rough. I would think.
Is it rough, though?
I don't know if he's shady because that suggests maybe a criminal element, possibly.
I didn't think, is that, though, criminal? Is it? Is there fraud involved?
I think he. Well, maybe. I think he lives on the edges of what's right and wrong. I think he does do that.
Yeah.
Like he leans into the gray. I believe.
We found an intern.
He's not a black and white type guy.
We found an intern who is. Sam's been an intern. She knows the way it's supposed to go. We got an intern here today. Charlie. We've had so many different interns. This one's a little different. Right off the bat, and I've talked to him for a little bit. He's got
he's got maybe you might call it
there's some edge,
an irrational confidence.
He does.
He is he thinks he's always on a heater. I think that's how he lives life.
I get the feeling like he's pulling up from Luka territory a lot.
All the time in life. Yeah,
in life. I just get that feeling, and you did too. So we're gonna have him come in at 9:00 and tell people how he may have defrauded the University of Missouri in their journalism department.
I'm not sure he should be telling this story, considering.
No, he should.
No, it benefits us, but for him, considering the profession he appears to want to join, it seems like a. I mean, I'm just saying.
I think
we're not supposed to be ruining interns' lives.
This isn't. He for sure could go work at Barstool after this.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
telling that story might get him an internship there very quickly,
or even his own podcast.
Yeah, which he has, by the way.
Did you over the weekend? What did you watch? You had Champions League. I know you watched that.
I did watch that.
Real Madrid beat Dortmund. That was
15 titles for Real Madrid.
Man,
they've won 6 out of the last 11.
Ridiculous. It's basically Real Madrid and Man City are running. Real Madrid's running the whole world, and Man City's just running the Premier League.
Yeah, Dortmund had their chances in the first half. They ran out of gas, and of course, Dani Carvajal, a Real legend, corner kick, smallest man on the field, has a header, free header, and then a bad mistake by a Dortmund defender led to the second goal by Vinny. So, yeah, Real Madrid, champions of Europe one more time, 6 out of the last 11. So I think the guy even said it. They've won it more often than not over the last decade.
Yeah, that's crazy. How about did you watch any of UFC 302 or
I didn't see
it's
any of that.
expensive. My son, I found out I had to rent it since one of Mason's friends showed up at the door, and none of my kids were even there. And we said, "Hey, Julius, what's going on?" Like, "Oh, I'm just here to Mason said come over here that you guys are getting the UFC fight." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." God almighty. So I go to get the UFC fight, and I was thinking about it anyway, but just thinking about it. Ooh, $79.99. $80 for that fight. And they're all $69 or more. I already know that. So I get the fight. And then it turns out that Mason has like a bunch. We come home from dinner, and there's a bunch of other, like, hey, look at all these other
How many people in your house did you not recognize?
Just two.
Okay.
I think I recognize the other three, and I'm not mentioning Ethan, who spends the night. Ethan, who are my kid's best friend, and then Snacks and Marty and Mason. I had like 9 kids in there watching UFC. So I just went in my own room and started watching, and watched Dustin Poirier. Poirier lost to Islam Makhachev, who Islam is just really, really talented. But Dustin Poirier, the Diamond, from Dustin the Diamond Poirier from Louisiana, he's one of the toughest guys to ever, fight in the UFC. He gave him a hell of a fight. It was a good fight, but Dustin Poirier, the news that came out of there is that he kind of soft retired. He kind of hinted that this might be it for him because he just doesn't think he can win a championship, and he didn't want to just fight to fight. He brought his daughter. It's the first time his daughter's seen him fight. She was not feeling it. After the fight, he gave her a kiss. She wiped her face.
What did he look like?
He got his face beaten.
Yeah, so what?
It wasn't great.
Do you bring how old?
No, I'd say she's about 7.
You bring
really
your
cute little
7-year-old
girl.
daughter
7 or 8,
to watch you get your face bashed in?
I mean, it's not like you were fighting a tomato can and you thought Daddy's going to have an easy one. You happen to be fighting one of the toughest pound-for-pound fighters in the world who can grapple, punch, like everything. And Dustin's face was beat to hell. And his daughter, nothing about – he kept trying to He kept trying to make her feel better about everything. Like, hey, Daddy's okay. Daddy's okay. What they had footage on him. They got a camera on him the whole time, walking backwards as he's walking into the tunnel, and she is just not feeling it.
Poor decision.
Yeah,
you don't tell people how to parent, but in this, maybe the daughter doesn't show up, doesn't see Daddy get beat up.
Not for the Islam fight, unless he thought that might be Daddy's last fight, which I think it will end up being because he's like, I've had 4 title shots. I'm not getting another one. And he goes, and then if I'm not going to fight for a title, what am I doing? Just fighting a fight? Well, some guys do because it's still a good paycheck. But I think Poirier must have enough money where he's not going to do it. We're going to want to hear it, not now, but at 7:40, about 7:45, 7 in that neighborhood. We're going to want to hear what you learned this weekend. What happened with the Space Cowboys?
This happened last week. Joey Loperfido, who they're trying at first base, just giving him reps. Maybe that's the reason the Astros sent him down, because he wasn't going to get those reps at first base, and he's the future at that position. So Joey Loperfido makes a good play, defensive play, and the Space Cowboys tweet out video of it with the caption, just a first baseman doing first baseman thing. Something like that. Something in reference to, hey, this guy can play first base. Mm-hmm. And it got a lot of attention. A lot of Astro fans who are, and rightfully so, not thrilled with Jose Abreu being up and back, and maybe he's a bad vibes guy, maybe he's just a bad player, whatever. They don't want him around, and that's understandable. He hasn't been very good. Loperfido had hit when he was up here. We all know the story and the narrative. So everyone's commenting on it, either quote tweeting it or adding the Astros with it, or just commenting on it. And
I love the at the Astros.
Hey, add Astros.
That all you did is get that deleted?
Yeah,
that's all you did with your little snitchy little stuff that you
I'm sure
do.
the Astros saw it anyway. The whoever's the admin for the Astros, who has come under fire this year anyway, they all saw it. They all know it, and they know the reaction. So at some point between the time that tweet went up and when my show started, because I pulled it, I wanted to talk about it, the tweet was gone. They deleted it. And it's like your affiliate calling out the big club, and the big club, we assume, called down and said, hey, knock it off. Or maybe someone with the Space Cowboys said, hey, we like it snarky, but not that snarky. It's got to go.
It might have been an ownership thing, but my guess is somebody with the Astros, and I probably know who, made a call to whoever runs the Space Cowboys on a day-to-day basis and said, hey, this is not a good look. We got our guy up here, Jose Abreu, who's trying to, we're trying to get him back into, he's a former MVP. Who's blah, 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 blah. And they probably did that. And okay, I'll make sure it gets deleted. And they deleted it. How about you guys? How about you weasels that like to at everybody all the time? Ooh, at Astros. You see this, Astros? That's how we feel. All you do is you're just getting heat on that tweet. All you're doing is just pissing people off at the Astros. So don't do that, okay? Don't be little weasels. Let's just let low profita. We all feel the same way. Let's just we'll just chuckle and keep it moving. That's all you got to do. You can retweet it too. But, yeah, you're right. That was never going to – that was seen as – I don't think it was meant as a slam. It was just basically saying he can play first base. Maybe it was meant as a little bit of a slam. Because one thing about social media, the people who run social media accounts pretty much across the board now, they understand the narratives around these teams, and they are going to have a little snark in them. That's just the way it is. And so that one may have – but when you're the minor league team, like I bet the Vipers aren't taking shots at Deshaun. When Deshaun Nixon was here, like, look at this fat boy. Our players are fit.
Look at this fat boy.
Well, I bet they didn't say that.
Well, they would attack. No.
Who would they attack?
They wouldn't. No, I mean,
I don't even know who they would have.
No, I don't know. No, it's unlikely.
If they wouldn't have taken shots.
The G League affiliates of NBA teams aren't using plays made on that level to point out maybe how poorly another player is playing on the NBA level. It's not, no, they don't do that.
No, I think they're smarter than that because those people could lose their low-paying jobs anyway.
Yeah.
All right, here's our phone number if you want to come in. 713-780-3776. 713-780-3776. At 7:45, we will do What Did You Learn This Weekend? But if you want to talk a little sports with us, we're in here. Dell and I are in here. 713-780-3776. I don't know if you know this or not, but June is Marry Me Month at Zadig Jewelers. And you can receive a Zadig Jewelers gift card with your engagement ring or wedding band purchase all June long. This is really cool. If you're looking to get engaged and you feel like, now is the time, it's really going to benefit you. If you say yes to a dream ring, you are going to receive a gift card of up to $2,000. Let me explain it. Spend $2,500, you're going to get a $500 gift card. Spend $5,000, you get a $1,000 gift card. You spend $10,000 on that engagement ring, you're going to get a $2,000 gift card. Get yourself a watch and a bracelet, and I don't know, whatever else you want to do. I'm just here to tell you that you'll get the best watch, and you'll get the best diamond ring, engagement ring, and you're going to get a gift card on top of it. This is a great chance. Spend more and get a larger gift to use later on. If you've been wanting to get your engagement ring, get it from the company who has, in the spot here in Houston, who has the best brands, the most beautiful rings, and the best craftsmen who can make anything you want. Only during Marry Me Month at Zadig Jewelers this June, 1801 Post Oak Boulevard at Zadig Jewelers.
You're listening to Houston's longest-running sports radio morning show. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's John and Lance.
7:38 here. It's going to be a quick segment because we've got what did you learn this weekend in one sentence. Now, here's what you're going to do. At 7:40, we'll say 7:44, 7:45, or you can start as early as whenever the segment's over. You start calling 713-780-3776. You're going to tell us what you learned this weekend. This is something where there are some experts who do this. There are some veterans. But we want to hear from new people as well. We want to find out, what did you learn this weekend? Was it in sports? Was it at a concert, a restaurant? Was it a relationship thing that you learned? It can be literally anything. It can be Ocho Texto watches different shows and reads books, or I think watches shows. Most of us don't read books. We just listen to books. My wife thinks she's hot. She thinks she's hot snot on a silver platter.
Ugh.
Instead of cold boogers on a paper plate.
What
because
is this?
She reads books instead of me watching shows. I read books. Like, she thinks she's so much better than me.
She kind of
so
is.
I watch shows.
No, she kind of is.
She's like, I'm reading 4 books at one time.
She's
I'm
cultured.
watching like 4 shows at one time. I'm watching Dark Matter. I'm watching, I watched the Lollapalooza documentary that was great with Perry Farrell on Prime. Big deal. I watch shows. You read books. Who cares? We're both ingesting information.
She runs a marathon. She
I do
reads
draft
books.
stuff.
She teaches your children. She is a better person
I
than
teach
you.
them stuff.
Not-
She's not a better person.
Not good stuff. So you mentioned this UFC event, and it stuck out to me. And since we only have a short segment, I'm just gonna detour from what you want to talk about.
Okay.
Just gonna do it. Welcome to John's world.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a UFC event where one of your children was hosting an event. Well, you had to pay for it, but he was hosting.
I mean, all of a sudden, people were over at my house watching. Yeah. I went out to dinner, and I came back home, and there's a bunch of people there. Not a bunch. Like 7, 8.
Several boys were there. Right?
One girl. Yeah. Mason's friends and Sebastian's friends. And then 2 girls, my daughter and one other girl.
Have you had the girl issues yet with the boys?
No.
You've had nothing?
No, not yet.
Nothing about, hey, you have to treat a girl this way? You haven't had those conversations yet?
Oh, yeah. My wife is, every time something happens, like every time Brandon McManus gets loose, I've got to.
He lost his job.
Yeah, he lost his job. I've got to. She said,
Every
you
time
need to have
McManus gets loose.
You need to have a conversation with your sons. Like, okay, I'll have it again, but that's fine. I'll have a conversation. I don't really have a lot of conversations.
What are the conversations?
Hey, don't treat women like crap. Okay? Yeah, right? That's a good one, Stan. I think that's. Are you in favor of that? You're in favor of
not treating women poorly.
Would you call yourself a feminist? That's not a bad word, by the way. You can be a feminist.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. You don't like being. Have you ever treated someone else like crap?
It happens.
Yeah, it
Are you
happens.
talking about any gender?
Yeah.
When they were being crappy to me.
Yeah. Okay. So is this girl on girl like being catty and nasty? Because girls can do nasty better than guys can. That's accurate, right?
I do agree. Girls can be more sneaky.
Give us an example.
No.
Yeah. Give us an example. What do you mean by that?
Well, I would say not in a rude way, but girls think more so they can be more manipulative towards men.
That's so true. That's so true.
You're easily.
As a woman, I am not afraid to say that.
Are you easily manipulated, Lance?
No, I'm not easily manipulated, but what she's saying is true. And I've said this, and it's not a controversial take. Women are nastier in a psychological way. Because we know when at Mean Girls, I worry about my daughter. She's going from homeschool to high school because she hasn't really dealt with Mean Girls. Like, she hasn't dealt with that. And a boy could do it because guys are like, yeah, but it's not all Cobra Kai stuff where Johnny's looking to put you in a body bag and a bunch of karate kids are going to beat you up in a stall. First of all, he brought it on himself by pouring a bunch of water all over there.
Yeah. I mean,
and he needs to stay out of his way.
Daniel's the villain of that movie.
Yeah, he is. And right off the bat, if you're a kid who's 12, 13, 14, if you're a boy, you learn, okay, this is the guy I don't mess with. Or this is the group I don't mess with. With girls, it's like you get in the popular clique, you click up, and you immediately try to Hannibal Lecter another girl into hating herself. It feels like. I mean, maybe.
Do you think you're in a
that's mostly
position
off of movies?
Yeah,
and
do
going
you think
through high
you're
school.
in a position to make that judgment about how women
I
and
haven't-
girls act?
Yeah, I mean, true. I haven't really been around it. Really,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of movies.
Sure.
I was in high school, so I saw it happen a little bit. Although the girls in my class weren't that bad, but the girls in my brother's class were a little rough. Is that inaccurate, Sam? What I said? The girls will click up and make another girl's life hell.
Oh, 100%. Girls are mean towards girls.
See, Dell, what are you fighting?
I'm not
against
fighting
here?
anything.
What are you fighting? Why are you
What
going
am I fighting?
contraflow?
I'm not
telling you
fighting.
what the deal is, and you could learn from this.
Learn what am I going to learn? I don't hang out with.
But you learn the psychology, so you can reverse it.
I don't.
You're
want,
like, yeah, that girl's. A
You know
total
what I don't
bitch.
want to be involved with?
You could say that too.
I'm not saying that. That's a problem. You know what
Well,
I want to.
I don't know if you want to reverse it.
I don't want to be part of that.
No,
Why-
but they'll get in the click.
But
make
I don't
it seem like you're buddied
Why
up.
am I going to be
and
in
then
a?
you pair
I'm
off.
going to be in an
I'm always
all.
playing the game.
I'm going to be in an all girl clique. What are you talking about? And then play the game? Why would I do that?
Learn to game the system, Dell.
What system is that? The girl hate on girl
Yeah.
system?
Yeah,
I don't want
and
to
then
be part
you
of that.
agree, and then they're like, "Come on," you're like, "Come on, let's go have a
I'm a-
drink and a smoke
I'm
over here."
I don't do
and
any
you
of
guys
that.
will drink and
I'm
smoke
going to
cigarettes.
tell you something right now. I'm not going to be involved with any woman who's involved in a clique where she makes another woman's life hell. I'm not going to be involved with her. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I guess you're never
Good
going to get
choice.
married.
Sorry. Well, that's part of the plan
Actually,
too.
I don't know.
Sorry.
My wife
Look,
doesn't do
man,
that.
I just
that
wa-
may not happen as
I
much.
just bought a PlayStation 5. I'm getting ready for EA College Football 25. I ain't got time for the manipulations. I'm setting myself up for a free time summer. That's all I'm worried about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we are way late for a break because you know what's happening next?
Yeah.
What have you learned?
What did you learn? And some of you guys just learned what the deal is just now. I taught you. But you don't have to bring that up. Okay, here's the number. 713, let's get in now. 713-780-3776. 713-780-3776. Want to get some new blood in here, too. If you've never played What Did You Learn This Weekend in one sentence, you got one sentence to tell us what you learned this weekend. Come in right now and let's get rolling. I want to tell you about Aqueduct Plumbing Company. You can't have a plumbing issue without having Aqueduct Plumbing ready to go for you. Aqueduct Plumbing Company is going to be the company that handles the leaks. It may start off with you having a leak. It may be you thinking you might have a leak. Well, they'll do hydrostatic testing. They can snake cameras down into your system to find out exactly what is going on. Here's something else they'll do for you. They can move piping, whether it's your gas lines or your water lines. Let's say you're remodeling a bathroom. You want to move something completely around, they can do that. But if you have leak, John had water behind his wall. They had to come in and work on that for him. But even things like leaky faucets and stuffed drains, I mean, if you can't get it taken care of yourself, trust the experts who are ready to help you out and who are very, very honest and transparent with their work and their price. And they never charge you to come out and diagnose the problem. It's aqueductplumbingcompany.com. That's aqueductplumbingcompany.com. right, 7:49. Here's how this goes, Sam. You're going to bring the callers in. I'm going to say the name. We're going to bring them in. Callers, your job is to tell us what you learned this weekend in one sentence. Try not to go more than one sentence. And once you hear somebody hang up, you guys fire off the call, 713-780-3776. And away we go. Keith. Keith is first up. Keith, what did you learn this weekend in one sentence?
That since the WNBA season started on May 14th, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever have played 11 games, and the defending champ Las Vegas Aces have only played 6. Can we get Caitlin Clark some rest?
Okay, that's what he learned. He learned, can we get, even though that was 2 sentences, he technically broke the law by asking a question.
Just following your lead, you always break that law.
Yeah, but don't do as I do. Do as I say.
Okay, yeah, that's the thing. She's played, I think the Fever, at a minimum, have played either 2 or 3 more games than everyone else in the league. Now, we know why. They're trying to maximize TV performances, but then you get a second night of a back-to-back where she plays poorly after a close game the night before, which has some controversy. We might get to that a little bit later. You're not doing her any favors by condensing the schedule like you are.
Oh, well. Look, I'm all for this. Well, this is what do we learn? We'll get to this in a second. Let's get Ocho Cinco in here. What's up, Ocho? How we doing?
Yeah, I learned that El Paso, Texas is closer to Orange County, California than it is to Orange County, Texas.
No way. El Paso's closer to Orange County than Orange, Texas?
Texas is a big place.
Well, El Paso, East. Have you driven through West Texas?
Never.
What did you and your dad? No, wait a minute. You said you went to Nevada with your dad to Las Vegas.
California.
Oh yeah, you were in California.
I grew up in California.
Dude, it is the longest trip west ever. You never get out of Texas. It's insane how long it takes. Let's get to AMF in here. What up, AMF? What did you learn this weekend?
What's up, guys? I learned that if you name your kid or ostrich Emmanuel Todd Lopez, you're destined to have a problem kid.
Yeah.
It's amazing that video popped up again. She created a whole brand and an account by that video, and that video's been around for years.
Oh, has it really?
Years now.
It's the first time I saw it. It's some ostrich who keeps getting in the way of a video she's trying to do, and she says, Emmanuel, move, Emmanuel. And finally she goes, Emmanuel Todd Lopez?
Yeah.
And I just said, oh, my God.
Yeah.
This ostrich has a full-ass name, Emmanuel Todd Lopez?
And he needed that name called out because he was a problem child.
He was a problem. He screwed up everything. Underrated Mess done screwed things up. What's up, Underrated Mess?
What up, fellas? I learned the world needed tracks Nuck If You Bucker and Houdini. Peace.
World needed tracks.
Eminem had to put a new song out.
Nuck If You Butker, which is Harrison Butker.
Mm-hmm. And Houdini is an Eminem
Oh, that's
song.
the Eminem song.
Yeah.
Is it all of that?
I don't know Nuck If You Bucker is an Eminem lyric or song, too. I'm not sure. I just know Houdini was a song.
Because that's a brand new John if he did that. But, yeah, I know he came out with it, and I got to hear the Abracadabra that he did with Steve. He sampled Abracadabra by Steve Miller Band. Let's get Tongue Dark Chris in here. What's up, Tongue Dark Chris?
I learned this weekend that Ultimate Frisbee is on just in time for Pride Night.
Shut up. There's nothing wrong with Frisbee-based games, and especially with disc golf. First of all, Ultimate Frisbee is like football with Frisbee. So that's I never played it, but I don't disrespect it. And disc golf is literally sweeping the nation right now. Like literally sweeping the nation. So that's what I learned. It's literally sweeping the nation. Who's on now you're going to call him out now. Sam, who's on line 2? I can't even see it from over here. Line 2 is, no, you got to say it on your mic. You're part of the show now, Sam.
You're right, Isaac.
Isaac, what's up, Isaac? What did we learn this weekend?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I learned that the WNBA bigs actually play like bigs are supposed to.
Yes, that's true. WNBA bigs do not sit outside from the three-point line. They set hard screens. They are throwing elbows around in the paint. That's actually true. He did learn something. Instead of Dell's soft-ass league with big men. Well, no, because Bam Adebayo actually plays like a big man, so I can't really He's not one of those.
My
Karl
soft
Anthony-
ass league.
Yeah, Karl Anthony Towns.
Why are you dropping NBA
In John's
on me?
league, the WNBA, they play. They're like hard. They play hard basketball. In your league, they're like
My
shooting
league.
threes from.
Okay, my
Karl
league.
Anthony Towns is shooting from 28 feet.
You just don't like Karl Anthony Towns.
I don't. He's too soft. I just don't like it. Line 3, Sam. Who we got?
Tom.
Now, Sam, I will warn you. Usually, Tom has things that he'll say that involve it's relationships, but very short-term relationships a lot of times, and sometimes catty, nasty things between women too. What's up, Tom? What we learn?
Morning, gentlemen, and of course, good morning, Sam. I learned this weekend that sometimes when you go out on a date with a girl and it doesn't work out, 4 months later, she'll be engaged to a lesbian.
Well, now you know why it didn't
Now,
work
you
out.
see, Sam, that's what I'm talking about. You just have to be ready for that on this show. You don't get that on Dell's show, but on this show, you do.
Yeah, well, on my
Sam,
show.
I mean, listen, Tom.
Why has this become just, hey, Dell's show?
Well,
We're going to take shots at.
No, she did your show.
Yeah.
And she saw what that was like, where
Yeah.
people imitate each other. And in our show, we get hard-hitting news like that.
That's not hard-hitting news.
Well, it's
That's
life
one
lessons.
person's individual issue.
It's life lessons. He found that out. Like, no wonder wonder I was in the friend zone.
Yeah. The woman, she had no interest in what you had to offer. And
Where
it happens.
Where did you meet her? Softball game. Okay, well, it's on you then, Tom.
Someone's generalizing stereotypes.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, that's right. Co-ed softball. We had a girl who played first base she could dig anything out. Co-ed softball league, like
Better
when I was in Pappas. No, I was a better first baseman.
Not you. Better defensive first baseman than Abreu?
100%.
Okay.
I mean, if you threw her one in the dirt, she was pulling it. It was not going to be a problem, and she'd actually get over as well off the bag to go pull it.
By the way, I want to let everyone know this great segment with all the insights brought to you by Free Reign Coffee.
Brought to you by Free Reign Coffee. Who's up next, Sam? Who we got next?
Lazy J.
Okay, this is also a problem because he hates Dell. So learn something here.
He doesn't
What's
like
up?
you very much either.
Lazy J likes me fine. What's up, Lazy J?
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
What I learned this weekend is, Dale, don't you ever in your life, talk about Real Madrid. I got a song for you. Madrid.
That's more than one sentence.
Madrid.
Sam, you can hang up on people because that's more than one sentence. You could just drop the call.
I think I like it.
By the way, I didn't. He's making stuff up.
You didn't like it when you didn't have your little hang-up button, did you? And Sam said, I kind of like it.
It's not a hang-up button. You just pull down the channel.
That's right, Sam. Don't take anyone off it. Don't take anything off anyone.
Can't.
Don't let Dell push you around. Be your own self.
All right, then I could just leave her alone for the next 2 hours. See how it goes.
You see how?
All right, then.
You see
I
how?
do. I still do
right.
have leverage.
That's fine.
But the point is, he's lying. I never said Real Madrid wouldn't win. So my point wasn't he's making fun of me. My point is he's just lying. I never said Real Madrid wouldn't win.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah,
so
of course
I don't know.
you didn't hear
I'm
it.
going to assume he said, what's up?
I'll assume this. Lazy J is a liar.
Line 1, Sam, who we got?
Don.
What did you learn this week in one sentence? Don.
Just pulled.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I
go
can
ahead,
hear you.
Don.
What's up?
Yes, sir. I learned this weekend, the best place to see real girl-on-girl violence and that mean girl psychology is to watch an Indiana Fever game. Shout out to Caitlin Clark. You're welcome. Welcome for the chartered flight.
Oh, my God. Caitlin Clark took a shot that was a cheap shot that sparked a lot of debate and conversation that we will talk about coming up next.
Yeah, I would think some of it fairly dishonest and disingenuous. So we can get into that.
I think so, too. But we'll get into it in a
Let's
second.
go to Roy. Roy's our next caller. What's up, Roy?
Hey, fellas, what's up?
What's up? What'd you learn?
That guy took my
thunder.
I was going to say that WNBA players are the most jealous biatches in the world.
Sam tried to tell you all that.
Well,
she didn't exactly say that about WNBA tape, but if you read between the lines, that's what she was saying.
We got a couple more to go before we wrap it up. Let's get to La Raza. La Raza, what's up, man?
R.I.P. Johnny Granati. Lance Mutual.
Talecito. And Sam.
And Sam. Puerto Rico. Hey, gentlemen, what I learned this weekend is that just like everybody else on the show Movie Pass, the white guy always has to mess it up for the minorities.
What was it? That the movie passes? Is that documentary? Oh, we gotta hang up on it. He's not allowed to. I want him to be able to explain it, but John already said the rule is you can't do it. Yeah. So there is the decline of the movie, or the whatever it was, the decline of the movie pass or whatever, where you had the movie pass that you could buy and watch all the movies, and somehow white guy messed it up. White guys will mess things up. Those people are problems.
Been saying it for years. We got one more. Eric, what have you learned?
What's up, Bill and Lance? Hey, yo, Lance, it's Smooth from Twitter, man.
What's up, Smooth? How we doing? What'd you learn this weekend?
Man, you know what I learned, honestly, man, is that WNBA players do not care about your parlays because they keep them in blowouts. Mm-hmm. And that is unfortunate if you're a gambler.
That's true.
So I need your listeners, if you are on Prize Picks or whatever app that you use, do not bet WNBA unless you have a lot of stress-free time on your hands to watch these games and watch them keep a girl in a 25 or 30-point game blowout. That's what I learned.
Well, that's the problem that you have. Thank you for the call, Eric, and appreciate you all these years. That you were playing Prize Picks instead of Underdog Fantasy, because if you're playing Underdog Fantasy, that's how you get there. You get there with legitimate statistics that you go higher or lower. You have many statistics that you can play higher or lower when you play the Pick'em Challenge. Underdog Fantasy allows you to find that play that you love. You say, man, this is coming up with the NBA Finals are coming on. So you're going to have Jason Tatum and Luka and Kyrie and Brown, and you have so many different players to choose from. Maybe you want to take a smaller name player. Maybe you want to take the third or fourth best player and analyze the game and figure out maybe who's not going to get many opportunities. Maybe who's not going to grab many rebounds. Maybe who's going to step up and be the X factor. And that's how we start winning. Pick between 2 and 5 players, and you also have an insurance feature in there where you can actually set it up to where you can win even if you pick just 2 of 3, 3 of 4, or 4 of 5. And remember, if you pick all 5 right and you pick some with scorchers, which are those little chili peppers that are there next to the statistic, you can win as much as 100 times your original play. Use promo code Lance. They're going to give you a special pick at the a special mystery pick right there in the lobby, and that mystery pick is going to basically be an easy win for you. So don't miss out on that when you make your first deposit. It's Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Lance. Must be 18 or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms and conditions apply. If you feel like you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Go to ncpgambling.org.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
8:04 here on the bench, as I still call it. It's Lance, Dell, and Sam. Our intern, Sam. Let's check in with Sam. Sam, it's your first time kind of producing a show by yourself, doing most of it. Dell stepped in and helped. How's the first hour going for you, Sam? Uh-oh. You didn't turn on your microphone.
Raise the level of either turn it on or raise the level of your channels, of your fader, so we can hear you.
See, that's how the first hour's going. Exactly like that.
That's all right.
It happens.
That's all right. Trial by fire. We're good. That's not a problem.
We got through a segment, one of the biggest segments of the week, just fine.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest segments. It's fast-moving. You're going to be fine. There's a lot of things in there. I've always thought that that's a super
That's
easy
a lie.
job.
You don't know anything about that job.
I don't, but I've always assumed it's super easy.
Well, you're wrong.
Looks super
You know what's
easy.
crazy, though? Guess who texted me?
Who?
RJ.
Did he?
Yeah, he said...
She was his person.
Uh-oh.
She was his intern when he was here. She was
Yeah,
always in the
before you,
morning
Dill.
with him. Yeah.
And what did he say?
Well, I was before him, but that's semantics.
He told me to breathe. I'll be okay. But he said if I don't get better, then unemployment line, baby. And he will be so proud when I get fired.
So that's the thing is, you have to be able to deal with that.
You deal with us being pretty much a-holes for no reason other than...
no, that's part of it. And
Yeah.
Sam's got a little edge, too.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
She already told you what the deal is. I'm not worried about her.
Yeah.
Dell will be an a-hole behind my back.
No,
RJ
I
will be
won't.
an a-hole in
I
front
will-
of
Yeah,
me.
that's right. That's a good point.
What?
No, Sam, you got him
What are we
nailed.
talking about?
That's exactly what he does.
That's not true.
You should hear what he says.
See, now,
Or what he will
now
say.
you're trying to create a divide.
Or what he will
I will
say.
say anything I want directly to someone's face.
Will you?
Yes. I talk about you directly to your face.
Yeah, but that's not.
I
you
don't
even
say
put
things behind your back.
You know what he did? And this is, and you know what? I was wrong, actually. I said women can be a little cattier.
I'm not catty.
Dell named me Trash Ass Lance in his phone. Like, that's how I'm in
That's
his
his contact, yeah.
Yeah, that's my contact name.
I sometimes try to find his
Catty.
his contact. It's not catty. It's straightforward. I'm not being. I call you trash ass Lance to your face. It's not being catty. There are times where I think I need to find. Like someone goes, "Hey, what's Lance's number?" And I have to try to find it and send it to him. And I'm in the L's and I go, "Wait a minute, what's his number?" And I have to realize I got to scroll down to the T's and find him.
Well, what's worse, Lance, ESPN, or a fun name?
Yeah. Would you rather just be basic?
That's not a fun name.
Trash ass Lance is fun.
No, Lance ESP. That's how I am in yours.
No, you're Lance Zerline. Dell ESPN.
Oh,
Can
Dell
have
ESPN.
my last name. Trash. You know multiple Dells? How many people know multiple Dells?
No one knows your last name. You've changed it. You changed it last
No,
year.
it's spelled the same.
You came back and rebranded under a new
no,
last name.
it's spelled the same. It's just pronounced differently.
Sam, he used to be Olale, and then he's like, he came back again, and he's like, I'm going to go Olaleya now.
That's how it's actually pronounced.
Well, why don't you stick with what we were comfortable with?
Because I'm with what I'm comfortable with.
You were never
I'm growing
comfortable
and
with that.
changing, and I'm comfortable with Olaleye.
Astros are changing, too.
No, they're not. They're as bad as they've ever been. At least this year.
They lose yesterday 4-3. Hunter Brown was good.
You cursed him, but he was good.
Yeah, I cursed him a little bit. I said that he's on a redemption arc and he gives up a home run to make it 3-3. However, 6 innings, 3 runs, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. That's a good inning. 5 hits allowed. That was a good game for Hunter Brown. He's been in 4 of his last 5. He's been good, pretty good at least, good enough. They're just not scoring runs. Ryan Presley gives up the game winner. 4-3 is the final. They lose, and they're just not scoring runs, man. In 7 of their last 11 games, they've scored 1-1, 2-2, 1-1, 3. Those are the lowest scoring, and that's just not going to get it done. And I don't understand what the problem is. Alex Bregman in this run, now they've lost, they're 26-34. They've lost 3 of their last 4 series. Alex Bregman's been 10 of his last 24 with 4 home runs. That Bregman that everyone was upset about, it was right around the Mendoza line. He's in the 220s now.
The cream is rising.
The cream is rising. Look at the back of his baseball card, and you'll see it for yourself. Jordan's baseball card is not as expansive, but he's up in the high 280s. I think 289 now. He had a couple home runs a couple days ago, but they lose 2 out of 3 to the Twins.
So there's a Jordan stat that former host here, Charlie Palillo, put out as he was giving us a recap of the game, which I felt I couldn't believe it's the case. But, the team's bad. probably right. He has Jordan as 8 for 50 with runners in scoring position.
If Charlie says that it's true.
Yeah, it's Charlie Palillo, baseball guy. He would know.
Yeah.
8 for 50, batting average of 160 with runners in scoring position. So he hit the ball hard multiple times throughout the series, but continues. He was only 0 for 1 with runners in scoring position yesterday, but continues what has been an awful year as far as that's concerned.
If Charlie says that it's true, well, you look, Jordan's not been great. Look at the home run and RBI numbers; like they're not what they have been. He's stayed out of the limelight because Bregman has taken all the bullets and all the bad pitching. But the fact is, Jordan is not playing at a star level right now, and it's something that the Astros are going to have. I mean, if they're to turn this season around, and look, they honestly, as much as we're going to bitch and complain because it's not what we're used to, frankly, they weren't that great last year. The whole thing has been rewritten by everybody. Everybody has, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have rewritten what last year was, because the end result was, you end up going to another.
You win the division on the final day.
Right, but you had to have an opponent sink, and you had to play unbelievable over a weekend or over a 6-game stretch. And then, as Dale mentioned, you won the division on the last day. You weren't getting in through. You had to win a division or you were going to be cooked. Well, no, that's not true because the Rangers got in.
They would have made it in the wild card, but, everything that the road to, eventually losing to the Rangers we thought was easier, but, of course, they don't win home games. That all got determined on the final day when Seattle couldn't win a game over the final weekend on their home on their home field, and it helped the Astros when they went into Arizona.
This has been going on for 2 years now. The Astros inconsistencies. Now, last year it was much better than this year, and it was like, what's going on with Hunter Brown? What's going on with Christian Javier? Oh, Machete's so bad. He's so terrible. Get him out of the lineup. Yiner in. Dusty's here too long. They're probably going to have to move on from Dusty. Those were the storylines last year. Now it is Bregman. It is everything with the pitchers. It's Ryan Presley sucks. And frankly, the bullpen has not been great, but Ryan Presley's been the biggest problem. Ryan Presley right now, he loses. He's pitched better as of late, but Ryan Presley gets a loss yesterday. It's like he's just mentally cooked ever since he lost his closer job. But it's really before then. Even last year, Presley had a lot of ups and downs after John jinxed him on this show. And
weren't you there too?
Yeah, but I've got to assume John was the jinx because I'm superstitious. He's not. Although he is. He always says things that makes him superstitious. He just says he's not. So I'm assuming John jinxed that. But he did not pitch as well. He had been lights out before he came in. Then he came in and he wasn't lights out anymore. But he's been a problem all year long. This has been a pretty consistent issue with him where he has a hard time just doing his job. And yesterday was a time where the bullpen's been better of late. You needed to hang on and just get through it and try to find a way to scratch a run. You couldn't scratch a run, and you couldn't get out of the 8th inning without giving up a run. So Astros now have 3 games. Starting today, they have 3 games against the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals have a 28-29 record. The Astros record 26-34. Losers of 6 of their last, or they're 6-9 in their last 15. So the Houston Astros are going to have to they're going to have to find a way to not only take this series, I think sweep the series. You got to start sweeping some series, especially at home. You got Verlander going today. Then you've got after that you got Spencer Arrighetti, and then after that is who is after that? It goes because Fromber's not. It's Blanco, Renault Blanco, Verlander, Arrighetti, Blanco. Frankly, it gives you your best chance, I think, to get a sweep.
I'd agree. Those guys and how they pitch, and frankly, Blanco, if they finally lose a game, he finally takes a loss, which had been a really good season for him. Still is. He was the Friday night pitcher, and the Astros go down. Not that it would have mattered. He would have had them been outstanding. The Astros only scored 1 run, happened in the 4th inning, but he finally takes a loss. Second game back after the suspension. So I agree. Sweeps, and it's because of how bad they've been. They're in a position where you can't even just say, "Hey, win the series." You got to take all 3, and which is a bad position to be in. You think about all the consternation last year, the questions about Dusty, and you went through it. We're talking like, what are we at like now? 220 regular season games of this type of conversation. Now it's worse this year because of how bad they've been, but outside of running through the last week of the year, it's been a lot of this where we feel like the team is underperforming. We're looking for answers. Injuries have hit them really hard to start this year with their pitching, but the pitching has kind of bounced back over the last couple of weeks, even with guys who we weren't thinking to depend on. It's just been, and you said it, outside of the divisional series win and winning the division period, it's kind of been an underwhelming stretch over the last year plus of Astros baseball, where we're always asking why these guys aren't playing to the level we thought they should be playing at, and sometimes it just happens. You have a drain on talent, maybe a drain on leadership. I know people were after. We know we go after Dusty last year, but people were after a spot after yesterday where he didn't pinch run for Abreu. A lot of people took issue with that. He is at a point where, because the team isn't performing, the little things that people think can lead to winning a game are going to be magnified with him. And if he's not making the correct decision to pinch hit for Abreu, he's going to come under fire for it, and probably rightfully so in a one-run ball game.
I think rightfully so.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's only so much that managers do that impact the game. There's lineup, and then you have some in-game stuff that a lot of it is just by the book. It doesn't really, and I think just being able to manage by the book with a little bit of intuition is something that, gives you your best chance to win. And right now, it's simply not. I mean, Espada, I certainly don't put it all on Espada, but I don't think Espada's been any great shakes. I don't think that he's been great. Astros did get to last year. I mean, it is worth noting they got to 90 wins. 90 wins last year, but it's also worth noting it was their lowest non-COVID total since 2007, and they needed to win. They needed to win 5 of their last 6 to hit the magic 90 spot, but they did get to 90. They were 90 and 72. But for much of that season, it was us wondering where the 100-win type Astros were, and we'll see. They still have some really good talent. You still would take their top 5 hitters over most lineups on paper. It's just a matter of we're just kind of waiting for 2 players to get hot at the same time and the pitching to coincide with the hitting. And hopefully it starts this weekend, but who knows. 8:16, you guys watch UFC. Did you have thoughts on the Astros? We'll get to what's going on with Caitlin Clark. There's an interesting, I know a lot of people, Caitlin Clark, WNBA. It's kind of interesting what's happening in their league right now. Matt Barnes had some really interesting thoughts as Caitlin Clark got just drove to the ground by somebody after a clearly a move that the WNBA moved from a foul to a flagrant one after the fact. And there's questions about Caitlin Clark and whether or not the league's doing themselves damage by not, quote-unquote, protecting her. I've got thoughts. 8:17 right here on ESPN 97.5, Lance and Dell. I want to talk about a chance to tell you about my friends over at who am I talking about right now, Dell? I just deleted it. Yes.
Unless you got rid of it. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I just deleted it.
Sam, can you look at the log?
No, I got it. It's Texas Star Grill Shop.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I had on the grill yesterday, I had some of the Heartland Aikaiushi beef and pork sausage. My kids thought it was unbelievable. We had a couple links. Put that on there. It's great having an outdoor grill that you can, have a great summer with. And did you know that they can not only design but install outdoor kitchens for you with some of the best features that you're going to have, from refrigerators to grills to griddles to the cooktops to make your own smash burgers, even the pizza ovens. They've got everything you can imagine, and they've got either a standalone or one that they can put together for you as an outdoor kitchen. And it's where you go to upgrade your barbecuing, where you go to become a pit master, is Texas Star Grill Shops. You can sign up for the newsletter called the Club, and once you're in the club, you get special discounts. They'll email you and give you discounts that no one else has access to. It's well worth your time to go sign up today, because you get big discounts on meat, on seasonings, on grills. It's unbelievable, and it truly will take you to the next level with things like their Weber cooktop that they have, which is extremely durable, non-stick, non-rust cooktop where you can make your eggs, bacon, chicken sandwiches, smash burgers, whatever you're looking for, thanks to Texas Star Grill Shop. Multiple locations around the city of Houston. Go to TexasStarGrillShop.com or go to 975 or 975 Grills.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Lance, you stay on the phone. We'll handle this, me and Sam, while you're having a conversation. We've got breaking news.
She doesn't know, see?
I just told her. We've got breaking news.
Play that dumb sound.
It's not dumb sound. It's you. Why? Oh, it's not dumb. What do you think the breaking news is, Lance, considering that sounder?
Considering that it's on TV right now, I would assume.
Yeah.
Why don't you say what it is?
Justin Jefferson gets his bag from the Vikings. 4 years, $140 million, $110 million guaranteed.
$35 million a year. We're officially in quarterback territory.
He is, you would say, best receiver in football, right?
I think so, yeah.
So he gets his money. He'll stay in Minnesota. The Vikings, the rumor came out that if they would have been able to trade from Malik Neighbors and they would have traded Justin Jefferson, then Vikings people said that's stupid. That wasn't going to happen. So he stays in Minnesota. He'll help out J.J. McCarthy, whoever gets to start. They better hope it's not Sam Darnold.
I talked to two teams who tried to trade for him, and Minnesota
were like none of them not having it.
Minnesota wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
So obviously they knew they were going to sign him. I think once you get your hands on J.J. McCarthy, this is a done deal because you have to give, like, maybe you couldn't afford it if you had him and Kirk Cousins, but rightfully so, you let Kirk move on.
You let Danielle Hunter move on.
Yeah. And you sign, you draft a quarterback, and the best way for a quarterback to succeed is to have a good wide receiver. So you have a very good wide receiver for him to work with, for J.J. McCarthy to work with in Minnesota, and Justin Jefferson. Now, it's a 4 year. It's worth $35 million a year. It's $110 million guaranteed. So we're talking about what 27.5 is guaranteed per year. I mean, that is a ton for a wide receiver, and we're getting into a land where some teams, at some point, see, I don't know how. I'm not sure what your team, Miami, is going to do because Tyreek's got a big deal. Jalen just got a big deal, and Tua's coming up. I mean, I know what they're going to do. I guess they're going to give Tua money, but I'm trying to figure out, like, if you have a quarterback and two high-paid wide receivers, you have so much money because Tua's going to ask for a minimum $40 million.
Yeah, 40. The report is
a minimum.
The report is, we don't know because Tua's people have kept it pretty quiet. There hasn't been a real back and forth. Is that he's going to ask for more money than Herbert got? That's more than 40.
Well, you can ask.
If
I'm Minnesota, if I'm Miami, I'm saying, but if you go 36.
Okay, sure, that's going to work out.
That's fair.
No, it's not. If you go by the numbers, he's been a better quarterback over the last 2 years than Justin Herbert. So it's right for him to say, hey, don't pay me less than him. I was better than him.
This is what I might start doing if I'm teams. I will maybe franchise you for 1 year. I'll go fifth year option, franchise you for 1 year. That's 6 years. That's what I do for Tua. I would franchise him for the 6 year, and then I would let him search the market, and I will beat the market, whatever the market rate is. I might consider that, but I might let these quarterbacks, like if Tua thinks that he's going to get $50 million a year, we'll just let him see if he can find it. At some point, teams are going to have to they're going to have to just.
Well, you're treating players like Daryl Morey would treat players, where we pretend like the emotional part of the equation doesn't affect how things work out on the field.
Well, what do you mean the emotional?
We're just going to let you hang on the win. You're not our guy. We're going to let you go out there and play and go earn your deal. Most teams don't want to do that.
That's true.
Players generally don't respond well. Some of them do, but they don't respond well to that. And if it calls into question the leadership of your team, if you tell everyone knows you're telling your quarterback you're on a prove-it deal. Teams don't like getting involved in that. What teams do that? Even the only reason the Baltimore Ravens did it, partly because of injury, but it's partly because Lamar they couldn't come to an agreement. Not that they didn't want to pay Lamar.
Well, Lamar wouldn't even answer their call. A lot of that was on Lamar. They tried to give Lamar money, and then they got frustrated because Lamar and his mom wouldn't even take their calls, and so they started having conversations about trading him, but I don't think it ever got very serious. Let me ask you, now you don't live in Miami. You don't listen to Miami sports talk, so you may not know. How do fans feel? How does the local fan base feel about it?
I think it depends. If you use Twitter as your guide, there are some people who are certainly divided on the topic.
The Twitter I just don't think is real life.
I don't think it is either.
Accurate.
I think Tua's loved there as far as the player, and it's an exciting offense. We can talk about some of their failures 2 years ago wasn't on him. He was injured. Last year, you can put some blame on him if you so choose. The team kind of just couldn't perform against better teams. I think overall the fan base likes that player, partly because of their investment, because they were trying to tank for Tua for years. So it's that investment, and also he is if you want to call him the conductor of the best offenses they've seen in years.
I mean, I don't know if I'm paying conductors $50 million.
Drew Brees was a conductor. He would have got $50 million.
Yeah, but you say he's a conductor of what, a 7th-round wide receiver in Marquise Colston and not Marquise Colston and was it Marcus?
It was Colston.
Yeah, Marcus Colston. Like, he did not have a bunch of first-round wide receivers until Mike Thomas came in towards the end of his career. But
he also had a legitimate genius as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but it is like,
and
football's changed though, because the quarterback contracts have really, really skyrocketed since Drew Brees.
Well, you
was
can
even
start
there.
to name all the quarterbacks. What quarterback who is successful who isn't named Patrick Mahomes currently without star receivers?
Without star wide receivers, not many. I mean, I would say Jordan Love doesn't have stars,
and he
I
did it for like 6 games. How many games has
I think he's relatively successful.
Yeah,
it's true.
All the young quarterbacks who've got.
There's nothing wrong with that.
All the young quarterbacks who've gotten their money, there was a star receiver alongside of them.
No, there's no question. You got to have good receivers. You got to have some talent for your quarterbacks. But Tua's in a special place where I sit and I remember what happened at Alabama when he had all these guys around him. And now he's got Waddle and Tyreek and the fastest guys on the planet. Tua is a better quarterback than a lot of people give him credit for. But I am wondering when a team is going to say, look, we're going to let you test the market. And, yeah, quarterbacks get a little fussy, but I wonder if there's ever going to be somebody who says, we're going to let you test the market. Because by saying you're going to test the market, you're hoping to get a deal if you're a team. You're hoping, and agents are going to have their feelings hurt maybe more than players are by something like that. You're going to piss off agents. If you take a quarterback, it's one thing if you're telling that to a wide receiver who's a wide receiver too. We're talking about a franchise quarterback, and you tell him to test the market. But I don't understand how you can keep, like, it will just depend. It's a relative conversation. The salary cap continues to go up. Well, then the number can go up. You can go to $57 million for a quarterback, but if it falls in line with what the cap is doing and the cap's moving up, then that really doesn't matter. It's just a higher number that seems crazy. Now, I do question whether or not the number gets so high that at some point you start having guys who just their money's already guaranteed, so you start having some issues with guys maybe not putting in the time and the work. But that doesn't typically happen with quarterbacks necessarily. They're typically built a little different than other players because there's a leadership element that you have to even get to a second contract.
And your initial thing was about paying 2 wide receivers and the quarterback.
Yeah.
And certainly the Dolphins are a bit unique in that because we even know the Bengals are going to pay Jamar, but they look like they're not going to pay T. Higgins. So.
Do you have any high-paid defensive players at Miami?
Bradley Chubb got his money.
You let Wilkins walk.
Jalen Ramsey has his money. The rest of their players are young, but coming up on extensions too. Like up next is probably Jalen Phillips, although he's coming off an injury. Devon Holland's another guy. The Tyreek thing, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the dead cap after this year is 22.6. It's a big chunk, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is no extension that they may say goodbye because you mentioned the Tua contract.
A cut or a trade? I'd try to trade.
Or maybe a trade. Maybe
you're going to take the hit either
way. So maybe you get something back. So that's probably – and then if they decide to roll a year – 2 years, and then after 2025, it's 11.3 a dead cap. So,
it's dead cap, but the dead cap number is relative. It's not. It doesn't include what the salary.
Yeah, exactly. It's just what.
So it still is a savings, probably.
Yes, it is because the dead cap is 11, but the cap hit will be 56 if he's on the roster playing. It's a $12 million savings after 2024. It would be a $45 million savings after 2025. So they have some questions. Certainly, that's just what happens. You draft well, or you trade for a couple big names, and the money becomes an issue. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tyreek Hill, this is his last season there. You're paying Jalen. You're going to pay.
The fact that Waddle got paid, it makes you think that's kind of a backup plan for Tyreek.
And the one time that Jalen Waddle was the number one last year because Tyreek wasn't available, he went for like over 170
You're
yards.
right. That's what they're going to do. That's smart because then you give Tua his money. You still have Tua on relatively simple money when you use Tyreek this year, and then next year you go to quarterback wide receiver with the money, and then you move the other wide receiver for I mean, possibly a 1. Tyreek could get you a 1.
Some team who wants to get over the top and
Oh,
says they'll get themselves Tyreek
Oh,
Hill
yeah.
for just a couple years.
Oh,
I
sure.
can see that happening.
Well, I could see it happening too. Real quick, did he just pay? Real quick, let's get Chris in here before we get to a break. Let's Chris from the Woodlands. What's up, Chris? How we doing?
What's up, guys? Love the show. Love the show. Hey, so Lance, you brought up something about Justin Jefferson and the fact that they knew they were going to sign him, and it brought to my mind maybe a question you might know the answer to. How transparent are NFL execs, GMs, presidents, things like that behind the scenes where we as fans and drafts going, well, we have to draft Malik Neighbors because we don't know about Justin Jefferson, and the Vikings are sitting back smiling going, man, we got this on lock already. And so I was just curious how many of these teams, when we as fans or ESPN or Schefter, those guys are thinking, hey, they have to draft this, they got to show up this position because so-and-so is going to be a free agent next year, when really these conversations have already happened behind the scenes. And I'm just thinking about maybe some insight you might have with Ballard and some other folks that where teams already know what they've got in certain positions where we as fans think, we're almost in panic mode that somebody else is coming up on a contract extension. So I'll give a listen. I was just thinking about the transparency of NFL execs. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, I've heard from some different executives and some front office people about that. A lot of times they already have an idea of what they're going to do financially with the player, and they've already had conversations with agents. It happens. I mean, coaches and rather front office and agents, they have all kinds of conversations. And you get a sense for if an agent's going to be tough to deal with or if a player is going to be tough to deal with, and you get a sense for the guys who want to be there. And so you can move forward with that knowledge. So sometimes that is the case where a fan, as a matter of fact, I'd say more than 60% of the times teams have a good feel if they're going to let a player go, if they're going to keep a player. I mean, this is not a game by game situation, year by year. Smart teams are already working in advance. Smart teams already are looking at next year and what they're going to do next year. Like we just said, Dell and I are just talking. We're just working through this Miami situation, and Miami's probably already worked through it, where they already know, okay, our game plan is we'll play Tyreek this year. The next year we'll start to shop him, and then we'll pay Tua, and then that's the reason they gave Waddle the contract he gave him. Because I'm not sure how you pay 2 wide receivers that much money and a quarterback who is going to get a massive amount of money. And then you've got, as he mentioned, Javon Holland, who's a good DB, Jalen Phillips, who's a pass rusher who you pay. This is Chris Greer and Marvin Allen, the 2 guys over there in ownership, have probably already figured this out. The same way when they added Stephon Diggs, the Texans, they already knew what they were going to do with Nico Collins. They already knew what they were going to – we may not have known, and we might not have, but I guarantee you, behind the scenes, Nick Casario already know what was going to happen. So that's a good question, though. 8:34, let's break it right here. QC Kinetics is your answer for achy joints, and it's not going away. It's turned into chronic pain. You were hoping it would get better, but it's not. Man, that shoulder is just bad. I know shoulders with torn labrums and rotator cuff stuff, that can, if you don't rehab that right, that can turn into arthritis and be a big problem. Same thing with your knees, same thing with your hips. Those are probably the 3 biggest areas, but you also have ankles and backs. And if you got a joint with problems, it's because you have damaged tissue or tissue that's been worn away. Regenerative medicine from QC Kinetics is a game changer. They come in and take the body's healing power, concentrate it, put it back into the joint, and it starts to repair the damaged tissue. It restores tissue. And so what happens is you are going to have a lot less pain. It reduces inflammation, improves your mobility, and your life can go on without all that pain. You can be more active again. It's hugely successful and very, very popular, continuing to gain traction. Don't just go with the old steroid shots to put a Band-Aid on it. Get it fixed with QC Kinetics. That's QCkinetics.com.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
8:38 here on the big show here with it's not the big show. It's technically
Weren't you part of the big show at
yeah,
one point?
it still should be called the bench, but John wanted to get away from the bench. I don't know why.
He didn't like that branding anymore?
I don't know. He just thinks it should be John and Lance. And we used to make fun of the old program director for changing the bench to John and Lance. We had bench warmers were our listeners. That's what we had. We had a good brand going, and the old program director took it away at 6:10, and then John took it away here.
John's lived long enough to become the villain.
Yep, he is. Everyone has that arc. 713-780-3776. Some quick hit stuff from over the weekend. Astros lose. They lost 2 or 3 to the Twins. They got a 7-10 start tonight. Justin Verlander on the bump. You had UFC 302. It was a card full of decisions, like very few stoppages, but one of them was in the 5th round where Islam Makhachev beat Dustin Poirier in the 5th round. But it was a scrap, man. Both those guys put on a good fight. It was a fun fight to watch. You have how about this? Did you hear this? Dove Kleinman, one of those aggregation accounts who was so annoying. So he got in a little bit of hot water last week when he said that Mark Davis, the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, he said that he was he had a baby with, he got his girlfriend pregnant, some model. What was her name? Probably Tiffany somebody.
No, it's a Hayden something.
Yeah, it's a Hayden.
No, I'm not joking. I think her
no,
name
it is. It is a Hayden.
Hayden Hopkins.
Yeah, Hayden Hopkins.
She's a creator dancer type.
She's
a
creator dancer type.
That's what it says when you type in her name.
I know it says that.
I didn't make it up.
Look,
she's a dancer, like an actual dancer too, not a Vegas.
Let me tell you,
dancer.
this is what I think. So Sam is our producer right now. Sam has a real job. She's not going to put creator. She's been a setter, you were a setter, right, in volleyball?
Yes.
So she was a setter. She was a sideline reporter. She's a producer now. So she's got a real job. She's not creator, influencer, and dancer.
What?
Have you ever made a TikTok dance for your? I'm going to predict. No, don't tell me. I'm going to predict that you have been part of a TikTok dance at least for your volleyball team.
I have actually.
Boom. See, Del, I know things. I'm intuitive.
So you think you should be applauded because you guessed a college-age woman on a sports team made a TikTok? You think you should be applauded for recognizing that could happen?
It was a favorite. I'll admit that.
Yeah, a heavy favorite.
Yeah, now that I think about it.
Over here, Sherlock Holmes, he thinks he is.
Yeah, but it's just...
Are you the next detective in Knives Out 3?
Here's watch this.
What's going on?
Watch this. No, that's Jeremy Renner. And I bet I can run faster than him.
No, unlikely, but go ahead.
I actually saw him the other day. He's running. He's got a bad limp. I'll bet you've never done the TikTok dance.
I've not, because I don't play.
Boom, 2-0.
Good guess. An elder millennial hasn't been in a TikTok dance. Good guess. Me, of all people. Another good guess on your part.
I know.
What a deduction.
You have Dove Kleinman's trying to sell his account for $75,000.
If you listen to Mopey and Mapes, because we are children of the internet, we're ahead of you. We did that story last week.
No, I saw it come out.
And allegedly, Jack McGuire, who I think works for Barstool, covers college football, he did an investigation and found out that isn't the original Dove Kleinman, who no one knows who that actually is anyway. He sold his account to an engagement aggregation type site, so it's not even the actual Dove Kleinman who runs that account anymore.
But it was probably Dove Kleinman who was the original aggregator. Why would you have sold that account unless he had a bunch of followers?
Well, the person I'm not saying Dove. Whoever,
this is the new thing, by the way.
I'm not saying
I can't stand these aggregator accounts because you know what they do? They do get engagement.
No, I'm not saying that the account wasn't for that particular purpose, but the guy we already didn't like. It's not that guy anymore.
It's a guy from Israel or something like that. I've seen somebody did a story about him. As a matter of fact, and. But anyway, I want to because we've got our intern's going to be coming up soon. I want to play what Matt Barnes said. But Caitlin Clark was basically she caught an entire shoulder and knocked to the ground, and it caused a big stink on social media and around sports. It was a cheap shot after a basket. The play before, now if you saw if you actually saw the full video. She talked a little trash to, who's the girl that?
I know the last name is
Mulder.
Mulder. I know the last name is Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy.
I have
started with a C.
I have to bring up her
Claudia
first name.
Kennedy, as we'll go with that.
You made that up. That's not
and she talked a little trash to her after the basket. They were probably going back and forth the whole time.
Chinity Carter. Sorry, Chinity Carter.
Chinity Carter. And then so the next time down there, she goes, bitch. After somebody scored a basket, she mouthed bitch, and then she ran over and knocked Caitlin Clark down before the inbounds play. And there's been a series of hard fouls and things like that, and she's been getting bumped around. But I want to address just quickly. So I get in this age, there's a polarization where a lot of people are going to think it's racially based. I've already seen this, that if she were a black player, it wouldn't happen. I've seen that it's because she's straight. I've seen it's because she's straight and white. The fact is, there are straight white players who are star players in that league. Ionescu. Actually, I don't know if she's straight.
Kelsey Plum.
Maybe not straight, but white. Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird.
Maybe not straight?
Is that
what you're saying?
Yeah, they're definitely not straight. But I think for some it might be that.
You
and
mean
I think for
other
some
players
fans,
or just
fans?
For other
I'm not. Yeah, the fans. The other players. I think it's just a jealousy thing of all the attention that she gets because she gets into their league and is already getting more attention than they've gotten their entire time. This is not that crazy. Isaiah Thomas froze out. And as a matter of fact, in the Olympics, not the Olympics, but the All-Star game, Isaiah led a group of players who froze out Michael Jordan.
You know, it's interesting
when he came into the
you
league.
bring up the jealousy part because people have pushed back on that for reasons. I mean, hey, Twitter's a dark place. You can find reasons why people think a certain way. I don't know about all players. Some players, you play physical basketball.
Nothing's all one.
It's not all. Yeah, that's why I think people get in trouble where they try to brand the entire league as well. They're all just jealous. Chinity Carter, after the game on Threads, took some disrespectful shots. She said all Caitlin Clark does is shoot threes, whatever. And you start to look at some of the stats.
She was 1 of 10 with 3 points.
Yesterday we can get into maybe the WNBA holding back on giving her back-to-backs and playing so many games in a short amount of time. We had a caller talk about that, but she's a league leader in assists. And so she's not just a three-point shooter. So maybe you attribute some of that hating. I don't know if that's jealousy or just hating because of the moment. We see players across all sports take shots that are ill or uninformed at other players because it's just what happens in hoops, in competition. You're less than complimentary about your opponent. Is that jealousy or is that just the nature of the game when it comes to Chinity Carter? But I do have a problem with people trying to gaslight people into thinking what we saw didn't happen. Like, people are like, well, Caitlin Clark elbowed her, and that's why she did what she did. There's no elbow.
There was a
scrum under the rim on the previous possession, and what happened was you saw Chinity Carter react to this. They gave up multiple offensive rebounds that led to a putback, and she did the classic frustrated, threw her head back. Oh, I can't believe that happened.
And Caitlin said something.
And then Caitlin Clark starts chirping.
Yeah.
I'm not taking that away from the equation.
Right.
She starts talking to her, and then that's why after the next possession, she hit her, and she called her what she called her. It's nothing to do other than Caitlin. They were going back and forth all game long, and at that point, Chinity Carter lost her composure and went after him. I mean, we can at least talk about what we saw. We can get into some of the narratives if we want, but what we saw was a player react in frustration and lose her composure.
She lost
That's
her composure,
enough.
right.
That's the basis of it all.
Caitlin Clark, like, if you want to go back to Luka or Larry Bird, if you want to find other white players, look, there are people who Caitlin plays the game like others play the game. She's going to talk trash. She's really good. She talks trash. She's competitive. And I think what some people got fired up with the Angel Reese thing, well, I thought it went a little too long in the handshake line because a lot of times once it's over, like with a fight, once it's over, it's over. But the fact is, what Angel Reese was doing, that was all like on the court. If you've played ball, that's just part of it. That's part of it. If you got somebody that talks trash, which Caitlin Clark does, it comes back on you eventually. Yep. It's just, that's the nature of it. And yes, she's a rookie. Yes, there's going to be some people who are jealous. Yes, there's going to be some people saying, hey, you're getting all this attention. You know what? We're not some soft-ass league. Like, you're going to find out. And then there's some general frustration. It's not all one thing.
It's not all things
she's
for
straight
different
and white.
people. Yeah.
It's not, it's that Chinity lost her composure. But she also is tired of hearing about Caitlin Clark.
And that's
probably.
fine to say. In that moment, if you want to defend the players who aren't named Caitlin Clark, and maybe you don't buy into the all of them are jealous, and rightfully so, you can at least talk about that particular play. And we see it all the time. A player lost her composure and committed a dumb foul. And Patrick Beverley did it now that was the end of a series, but Patrick Beverley shoved Chris Paul in the back, and all we did was talk about Patrick Beverley doing something stupid and losing his composure. That's the basis of what happened. And then the non-Chinity Carter part of the equation is something you can discuss if you want to. Seems like a waste of time on Twitter because you're never going to convince anyone of anything anyway. But if you want to be judged by the hoops, what we saw was a typical player getting frustrated and doing something stupid.
This is what I think is stupid. Caitlin Clark, if you've ever played ball at all, you ever been on a court where you were the minority and the first thing that you do is you just ball. You ball and you stand up for yourself. But she doesn't need Caitlin Clark doesn't need all these warriors necessarily on social media trying to help her out. Like, this is what she's got to go through. She's going to have to go through being a star who came into the league. She's going to make more money than everyone else, and there's going to be people who don't like her. Maybe there'll be some who don't like her because she's a white player. Most of them are going to just not like who she is off the bat because they don't know her and they're tired of the attention and they've been grinding and working. But the best thing for her to do is play through it, and guess what? She'll win people's respect, and it won't be a big deal anymore. People will get to know her at all-star games, at different events, because they don't even know her.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even know this girl.
They just know the conversation around her.
So it will all change. This is just part of ball, man. It's just part of athletics is sometimes, the 5-star comes in and they gotta earn people's respect. Now, I don't know. Maybe it happened with Arch Manning at Texas. I know those guys love Arch Manning at Texas. But that's part of it. Matt Barnes has a problem, though. We're going to combine the breaks here, so we're good. Dale will tell you about my booking in a second. But here's what Matt Barnes said. Matt Barnes said something that basketball players will say. And also, it wasn't just Matt Barnes who said this. Draymond Green said this as well. And then Nick Van Exel just said, I saw him on Twitter. He goes, I love Caitlin Clark. She's awesome. She's great for the game. But y'all need to stop. This is part of the game. And he's right. This is something that the more I thought about it, it's cheap shot. I have my opinions about certain things, but she just needs to just keep playing and things work themselves out. She's not going to leave the league. People go, she should leave the league and go to Ice Cube's league and teach these girls a lesson.
Yeah, stop leaning into they should take away the private jet.
Stop making
if you're treating her that way.
Exactly. Like, you got a whole lot of people who are my age or in the Gen X who are like, everyone's soft. These players are so soft. And now they're saying, Caitlin should leave. She should leave and not have to deal with this. No.
Where's she gonna
let
go?
her go through it. It's fine. It's going to be fine. No one's trying to murder her. No one's trying to hold her down in the locker room and beat her.
Are there no Micah Parsons in that league?
I hope not.
Yeah.
Here's what Matt Barnes is. Matt Barnes was a bona fide card carrying self-appointed goon who was he was a bodyguard, and he talks about the fact that Caitlin Clark may need some help.
So there's a hot topic going on right now. Caitlin Clark says she got cheap shotted against the sky. I mean, throughout the season, she's been getting beat up. Hard screens, elbows, knocked down. It is what it is. She's not the first. She won't be the last. My issue and my question is, where the are her teammates at? Where y'all at? Where the rest of the Indiana Fever at? I've seen a couple girls smirk when she's got knocked down, half-assed to pick her up. Like, y'all supposed to protect the asset, protect the star. And all this is the team. She's the star. You always protect your star. I was someone who protected the stars. You Kobe, CP, Blake, list goes on. It's going to be a problem because you guys are supposed to be a family. And you wonder why you sit at the bottom of the league right now is because y'all don't protect each other, man. Coach don't do about it. Players don't do about it. Y'all should be ashamed of it. But the rest of the league is going to continue to test her. And that's what they're supposed to do. It's your guys' job to have her back and have each other's back. Got to do better, ladies.
And that's just, that's basically Matt Barnes giving you an insight into, his version of the league, which is a little tougher type of league in his mind. I mean, he did believe in that. You're supposed to test her. That's what he's saying. And you know what? If your job is to win and you're in Caitlin Clark's head because she's 1 of 10, if you can get in Kyrie's head, if they can get in Kyrie's head, the one thing we know is do not trash talk Luka. that's not going to work. It's just going to make it worse.
And there's a PJ Washington standing there ready to go, who is more than just a goon. He's been big in these playoffs, but PJ Washington has done it multiple times. You're not going to bump my guys. You're not going to do it.
You have to have a guy like that on the team, and Dylan Brooks is that guy. Dylan Brooks is Matt Barnes. And in the WNBA, maybe they need to get somebody like that for Caitlin Clark. And that's fine. Michael Jordan had that. They had Charles Oakley. They drafted him so he could be Michael Jordan's goon. And that's what he was. Like, you weren't going to take liberties when Charles Oakley was there because you were going to have to fight.
And I do think it's interesting, the commentary we talked about, how people are like, hey, she should leave. It's like people can't tell what makes people interested in things. Like, we watch television shows all the time, particularly dramas. And you know what drama has? Conflict and resolution. You know, Caitlin Clark going 4 for 13 and scoring 14 points on a night-to-night basis isn't going to keep people there until she, you know, the Fever aren't excellent enough and Caitlin Clark's not excellent enough to keep people watching. You know what keeps people watching? The conflict. Which WNBA player is going to try here tonight?
Oh,
people,
actually
people.
You think it's good for the league?
I think it is good. You need villains right now.
Angel Reese
she
thing
needs a
was
villain.
actually good for. Look at the ratings when they played again.
Yeah. I think I was saying people watch TV all the time, and they love a good villain, and they love the hero overcoming. If you want to paint Caitlin Clark as a hero in this example, but yet they can't translate that to what they're watching in sports. At times, for a league to grow, in fact, WNBA people were asked about this, and they said we need more rivalries. They didn't say they need more bad people, but they needed rivalries. They need a conflict.
Angel Reese is going to turn into a rivalry in the
or just
league.
Overall, her versus the league. You want to classify someone as a bad boy Pistons or whatever. Or the Celtics didn't treat Jordan well. It doesn't matter.
It'll make Twitter unbearable, but it'll be good for the WNBA.
It's good for the league if the ladies decide we're going to be competitive as hell. Nothing comes easy, and we knock her down a couple times. Great, because the people who love Caitlin Clark are going to be upset about it. They're going to watch, and the people who think she should get a comeuppance will watch too. I don't get why people who want her to succeed and the league to succeed have an issue with this. What we're talking about this for the last 15 minutes because of what happened.
We're way too protective. Like, she'll work through it, but
she'll be
her
fine.
teammates do need to step up for her. But mostly, she has a terrible team. But you can bet against her if you want at MyBookie.
You can if you don't like the Fever on Friday against the Mystics, you can go to MyBookie. And I bring it up because the finals aren't back to the 6th, so you have other things you might want to look at, whether it be the MLB. Maybe you like the Astros tonight. Go to mybookie.ag for that. The best part about MyBookie is the sign-up bonus. The code BET975. Whether you're signing up or you're an existing customer, you can get a first deposit bonus for your new customers up to $1,000. That's a big deal. Makes your money go further. And if you're not into sports betting, they do have cards. You like cards? They have the live they have the live dealer. So you get those cards dealt to you. It adds to the experience. And don't be like John. John turned one of his buddies away from the Mavericks 25-1, and now look at them. They have experts. Don't listen to your buddies. Listen to the experts at MyBookie. So if you're not a big gambler, but you want to get into it, MyBookie takes care of you there too. Remember, go to mybookie.ag, and that's bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. Anything, anywhere, anytime. It's MyBookie.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
So it's and there's a 7'4" center from PSA 2 who's actually playing at Mizzou next year. I don't fucking know.
All right, back on the show we go. 9 o'clock here. Combine the breaks eras along. We got our WNBA talk in for you, so that's good. Joining us right now, so we have interns. Over the years, we've had different interns. Once, when I was at 790, I had 2 interns gang up on another one live on the air because this kid who we called Hip Hop, he actually performed somewhere. He was an intern, I think at Syracuse, and he decided he was a rapper too. So I called him Hip Hop. He was pretty strong. I haven't had an intern that really stuck out in that kind of way since the intern I'm going to introduce you to right now. Sam, of course, started as an intern. She's now our producer, and she is on the way up. She's on the come up. I don't know if this guy is. First of all, intern, why don't you tell everyone your name here? But let's see if you're good with the microphone because you are in journalism school, right?
Yes, sir. I go to the journalism school.
Don't get soft voice now.
Yes, sir.
This is a fraud already.
It's already being phony.
This is fraudulent.
You calling me a fraud?
See?
Yeah, there it is.
Get close.
There it is. Don't go. Yes, sir. I'm
there
in
we go.
journalism school.
Just say it with your chest.
I am not a fraud.
You can be respectful. That's fine.
But don't.
I respect the fact that you
say
said
with
yes,
your
sir.
chest though. Don't say it. Don't come
I
with that
just
soft
want
ass
to make
voice
sure
you
that
had.
we get the same version that was chirping so loud out there.
And continues to chirp.
Oh yeah, no, you're
Always
gonna get
chirp.
that version of me for sure.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Ryan Diamond.
Ryan Diamond.
His actual name
Is
Ryan
Diamond a stage name or is that a real name?
My real name.
Okay, because Ryan Diamond sounds like it sounds like you got a radio name already.
Yeah.
Or a wrestling name. All right, so tell people about yourself. Let's run it down. How did you get here, start to finish? How did you get here interning with us?
Okay, well, so since 7th grade, I've wanted to go into broadcasting. I realized I wasn't going to make the NBA, and I said, what else can I do with basketball?
Mm-hmm.
And so it took me over to broadcasting. And so I look up to Stephen A. Like, I love Stephen A.
Yeah.
I met him a few years ago, Game 7 Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I want to be a broadcaster.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't remember what he said after that, but that was a pretty cool experience. But yeah, I've known I wanted to go into broadcasting for a long time. And so there was an intern at ESPN Radio. I think it was last year. His name is Alex Cooperman. Shout out Alex. I've known him for a long time, almost my whole life. And he asked me if I wanted to write for his website. I think it was my sophomore year of high school or junior year of high school. And he said, yeah, absolutely. He let me write, and that was that. And so that kind of got me started. In my junior year of high school, I transferred over to a private school called Xavier, and I had a teacher named Kelly Reedy, and she helped
We're
me
getting
get
a lot here, Del.
We are.
I asked him, but I asked him.
You did ask.
I asked him, so go ahead, keep going.
And she helped me get into the school of the New York Times, which is a 10% acceptance rate for journalism. It's in Manhattan, so that was a really cool experience.
You lived here though?
No. Oh, I've always lived here, yes.
But you got into where?
It was the school of the New York Times.
School of the New York Times.
Yeah.
So who helped you do that?
My teacher, Kelly Reedy.
Do you think you earned it?
Absolutely, I earned it.
You did?
Why
Yes.
are you asking if you
Based
think
on
you earned
what?
it?
Based on what?
Yeah.
Well, my previous journalism experiences, like I had my own website at that time. I was writing for Alex's, and I literally went for writing class. So I think I earned it.
So this is in high school?
Yes, this is in high school.
But you didn't go to that school?
What?
Did you go to the New York Times?
School of New York Times.
It's a summer program.
Oh,
internship.
it's a summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a summer.
So you went there.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were one of the best there?
Oh yeah.
Without question.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm very confident in my own writing.
We can tell. Don't worry. You don't have to tell us you're confident. We get it.
Yeah, and don't back down from him.
Yeah, don't worry.
You
Don't.
got-
Hey, confidence is key.
You got Tyler Hero energy. Do not.
Wait.
Yeah.
He wishes.
You know what's crazy? That's
What?
my favorite NBA player.
I'm not surprised.
That's not crazy.
Del, you see that?
No.
It's my intuition. Tyler Hero's his favorite
There's no
player.
surprise that Tyler Hero's his
Describe what
favorite
you're
player.
wearing right now. Get people for who aren't on Twitch. If you're not on Twitch, or if you're not on our YouTube channel, I'm sorry, ESPN 97.5 YouTube.
I'm just wearing
Give him. What's your fit today? Just tell everybody.
gray sweatpants and a Houston Rockets shirt from the 2019 playoffs.
We're just gonna pass on the chains.
Okay, well these chains all have meaning.
That's fine. I didn't say they don't. Go ahead, just tell people about the chains.
My Magen David, I'm Jewish.
Okay.
Oh, I can't. And then I have this one. I don't know what this one is.
Uh-huh.
It was a gift from my friend Evan for my graduation. And
Dudes
then,
giving dudes chains.
Better than jeans.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank
Keep
you.
going.
And then my anchor chain. So my uncle's a scuba diver, and I wanted to scuba dive since I was a child.
Shout out. You got 3 chains. You also look like a Dominican baseball player, a little bit. A little bit. And what's on the right hand?
Jose Sears is going to make sure you tuck that.
My ring.
Keep that chain out.
My ring is the Shema. It's a Jewish prayer.
Okay.
And then this is a bracelet. I just wanted it for my birthday and for Hanukkah.
Are you going to get anything else going on? Like, do you have any plans? Earrings. Is that coming?
No, but I told my mom that I'm only going to get one more piece of jewelry for myself.
You have a tattoo coming?
No. Tattoos are against my religion.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tyler Hero has one, though.
Well, Tyler Hero's not
Probably
Jewish.
He's not Jewish.
He's got a lot.
Yeah.
He's not
He's
Jewish,
He's got a lot of them, yeah.
Okay. So the question here is, you also, where did you go to high school?
So for my freshman and sophomore year of high school, I went to Emory Wiener. It's a Jewish private school. And then for junior and senior year, I went to Xavier.
Xavier. So where is Xavier?
So Xavier's, it's a small little private school. It's down on the feeder road towards Memorial Park.
Mm-hmm. And why did you go to that school?
Well, I went to that school because it was going to set me up for journalism going forward. And
It have a good journalism program?
So there actually is no journalism program, but it's a small school. So what it does is that it enables students to be able to have extra time outside of school. And it also helps students while they're in school to set them up for where they want to be. And so the dean of journalism at Mizzou.
This is not the story he gave us, by the way.
Slick ass answer.
The initial look.
Right now.
I'm not fighting you on how.
Sandy, you have something you want to say? Sam looks like she wants to jump in.
He sounds so proper right now. Before
there's
earlier,
a different. Well, he's in front of a mic. It's his mic. It's in front of the mic.
No,
mode.
this is his. Yeah, he's going to learn that Stephen A. Smith didn't get paid doing. The 76ers basketball team certainly is.
Hey, I'm just keeping it
is an
professional.
amazing
I'm on
team.
live radio right now.
Well, does Stephen A. Smith sound like he's that
Is he-
professional?
is he
Do you think
professional?
he reached the level he reached?
He's
Oh,
made
so
it.
you're
I haven't made
You
it
watch
yet.
Nick
He's
Wright?
made it.
Okay.
Nick Wright's not professional. You have to do things like that.
But he's
He's
on
made it.
national radio.
That's what I'm
He's
saying.
made it. I have yet to make it.
That's how he got to national radio.
He didn't change once he got to national radio.
You got to cut it completely loose.
Cut it
son.
loose
You
because
gotta cut it
well,
loose.
not completely loose,
Well,
but
not
there's got to
completely.
be a certain standard. But the guy we know from the intern area isn't the guy that we're hearing now. Which people are like, why is this guy talking? He's very
If
polite.
you don't want to call me shady from my high school
Yeah, that's
experience,
right.
That's
I'll let
right.
y'all do that. But guess what?
there you go.
There he is.
Yeah, come out. Come on.
Guess what? There's no shade going
Sam's
on.
learned from me.
I know,
That's what I would
Sam's
do.
got a little
That's what
energy.
I would do in there.
Why do people call you shady? Why are the
Y'all
streets
call me
calling you
shady.
I didn't call
But the
you
streets
shady.
are calling
He
you
did.
shady. Why are
Y'all
the
called me
streets-
shady because
Well, the streets are saying it.
You did.
there's no streets
It's
calling
being
me.
said.
There
They're
are
saying it.
there are no streets calling me shady here. It's you.
But they are saying it. People are
They
saying it.
is you.
There's no they.
People
it's-
have said it.
A person has said
Lance.
it
It's being said.
No.
by a
I'm
person.
looking at the camera. It's Lance.
Well,
But why
you
am
told
I
it-
saying that?
You told a story that may cause Lance to call you shady.
Yeah.
The
I
story
think
you're-
I told a
the
story that
you're-
y'all
No,
misinterpreted.
the story you're telling
it's-
now is
I told a
different.
story-
I like the hustle. I like the hustle.
The story,
I told a story that
That's
y'all
why you're here.
misinterpreted.
no, the story you're telling now is different from the story you told.
No, because y'all were getting it wrong and misinterpreting it.
That's not true. Turn down your headset, Lance.
It absolutely is.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Did you have when you said it could set you up for better success going to that school? Did you mean that you could get a better standing in the class?
I actually didn't end with a better standing in the class.
You didn't?
No, there's one of my friends. He
went down?
I didn't go down or up. One of my friends at that school, he's at Yale right now.
Okay.
One of my friends at that school.
Where do you go to school?
I go to Mizzou.
And you're a journalism school.
Yeah.
That's a very good journalism class.
Because
It
That
is.
is. It's a very good
No, it
journalism
is.
school.
How did you term that school when you were talking to us out there? What did you call it?
Well, I said it's a special education school for students who have learning disabilities,
Talk
who
in the mic there.
who are athletes and need that extra time to practice their sports. For students like me who go into journalism and want that extra time to do journalism.
That's not. This
They
is
don't
my
have a
point.
journalism program.
This is my
They
point.
don't. Now listen, they don't have a journalism program, right?
Right.
But I'm here.
I know you're here.
Right.
It's,
So how do you think I got here?
But this
Shady.
is the, but this is
But
the
I
there's
like
no
it,
he
though.
called him
there's
shady
no
again.
I like
shade.
it.
But this is the
There-
point
there's
once
no
again
shade.
how the stories have changed.
I'm blessed enough to come from a family that can afford to send me to that school
That's great.
and get me to where I am now.
That's great.
But this
Did
is the
you-
point once again because maybe you can say we misinterpreted, but
Y'all did
But
misinterpret.
what you said was initially, and I was not even in part of the conversation. I was in another room doing work, and then I hear this, and I open the door and go, "What the hell's going on?"
Okay, so you see,
You said initially.
you hear it from
no,
outside
this,
the door.
no,
Right,
This is what you
exactly.
said initially. It was a special ed school.
Special education, that's what it is.
Did you Did you tell us what that special ed was? All you said was
No,
it was a
y'all
special ed
just,
school.
y'all just interpreted.
And you didn't take
We
the time
mis-
to correct
we
us?
Y'all
misinterpreted.
Did you
misinterpreted.
take the
Incorrect.
time to correct either one of us?
I didn't need to.
Why not?
Well, I didn't feel like I need to.
Okay.
Back yourself up, King. You got it.
But
So don't blame us.
What'd you say, Sam?
So
I'm absolutely gonna blame y'all.
I
don't
said
blame
back
us
yourself up, King.
for our reactions to your story when all you said and didn't take the time
And then-
to,
and then
to
call
tell
me-
us
and then-
actually it's this. You just said I got myself into
Well,
a special ed school for better grades.
I'm glad I'm here.
Good because the initial
Because
story.
where are you now?
Where am I now?
Yeah.
For school?
Yeah.
Missouri.
Missouri.
Are you flourishing?
What-
King?
what-
Are you
what-
flourishing?
Lance,
What
what was the initial
the-
impression
what-
for you? Did he not say this was the feeling, right?
Special
I got
education,
myself
that's
into
what it is.
I got myself into a special ed school to get better grades.
No, that's how y'all heard it.
No, Lance,
That's how y'all
I
heard it.
interpreted it that way.
Okay,
did you
right.
say better grades at
I
any
interpreted
point?
it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did get better grades.
Because you had more time because you're
Because
working
I had
on
more time,
journalism
exactly.
at a school with no journalism program.
Exactly.
But where are you now?
Mizzou. And you know,
And
but
it's
also,
one of the top. It's literally one
what
of the
was-
top
Hold-
journalism
can I get-
schools.
can I
So
get-
how did he
what-
get
Can
there?
I get 30
The
seconds
flex. Why,
talking to
why do you hate
Lance?
on the flex?
I'm
with him
not
now.
talking to you
I'm
because
with him now.
Can I get
What's up?
He's such a clown. Both of your
I,
clowns,
this
but mostly
is
him.
basically Mason. Mason.
30
would be best
seconds
friends with
for
him.
you, Lance. When when he was talking to us, did he at any point say I bought my way in? Did he at
No.
any point use money as a reason why he got in? Did you say, Lance?
Well, he could afford. It's a private school.
Yes.
He did say,
but he
could
put.
afford to
But
get in
again,
there.
But he
I
put-
didn't afford it. It was my family
Obviously,
that did it for me.
but you put spice on it. It wasn't. I'm fortunate enough.
Oh no, you were super spicy out
It
there.
wasn't like I was fortunate enough. My
Yeah.
family's in a great position that I was able to go. He pretty much made it sound like he bought his way into the school.
Who's your favorite?
That's what private school is.
Yeah.
Every private school costs money, but when we say buy our way in the school, it says I wouldn't have got in on my own.
He was
I had
out
to
there.
I had to pay to
Did you
to
flex,
get in.
Were you flexing a little bit?
A little bit.
Were you a little bit flexing?
No.
Did
That's
you
a
tell
lie.
us? How do you know Bun B?
Okay, y'all also misinterpreted that.
Okay,
I
tell us
wasn't there
how
for
we
that. You can't
misinterpreted-
blame
Okay.
me for that. I wasn't there for that.
Bun B.
You said.
Okay,
Now we're about
Bun-
to get
Bun-
full lies. Now
Bun-
a lot of lies are coming
Bun
right
B,
now.
if you're listening to this, I'm addicted to Trill Burgers. But
Okay,
look, that
that's
is not
fine.
that is not how I know Bun B.
Okay, hold up. This is the truth. See, you're not being. If this were a court of law, you would go to. You would have a
Perjury
lot of problems. This
charges.
is called perjury charges.
For what?
Hold on a second.
Where are you going?
How would this be perjury?
Oh, he's got his gavel.
I've got a gavel in here. Did you or did you not? Now I got to question you. When you ask us who are the most famous people we've had on radio, we started naming some names.
Yeah,
and
so
then we
what you-
said, and I said Bun B.
Yeah, and then
you
I said-
Bun B from Trill
Yes,
Burgers.
okay, I did say that. But look,
and Sean Mapes goes, what?
Yes,
and I
but
said,
okay,
is that how
Sean-
you know him? He goes,
no,
yeah.
no.
that's how I
Okay,
know
you
him."
see, Sean, when y'all were talking to Sean said, "Oh yeah, that's how he knows him," right?
No,
Because
When
then
we
no,
talked to
no,
Sean, no, you
no,
told
because
us
I
that.
talked because I talked to Sean after, and then he said, "Oh yeah, that's how he thought it was," and then I guess he said that he was talking to y'all about it, and he said,
Bro,
"Oh no, he
you
only
were
knows
right
it."
there. I said, you mean UGK also? You just know him from Trill Burgers? You said, that's how I know him. That's what you said.
UGK.
No,
Yeah.
the group.
Is there a confusion here?
Maybe.
Oh, it is.
Oh, man.
We just
So you just played yourself. This is one
UGK?
thing you have to learn. Yes. What about UGK? What does UGK stand for?
I don't know UGK.
Bun B is famous because of UGK. That's what I'm saying. He's a rap. He used
No,
to be a
I know-
rapper
no,
before
I'm
burger impresario.
No, I know. I like rap. I know that Bun B's a rapper. I just don't listen to his music.
Okay.
But I know that he's a rapper.
Okay.
I like very modern rap. Like
what?
Do you know who NBA YoungBoy is? Are you all familiar with him?
I'm aware
Okay,
of who
this
he is,
segment
yes.
is now that we're an NBA Youngboy. Let's just say this: you started giving some hints. If you're gonna have to.
When you put two and two together,
Have you ever
does it-
heard this phrase? Keep that same energy.
Does it make sense? I'm a YoungBoy fan.
He did not keep it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
surprise.
Yeah.
He did
Crispy
not
milk.
keep the energy.
Crispy milk. I got a crispy milk right
He
here.
is kind of crispy milk.
But Tyler Hero is really, truly crispy milk.
Certainly.
But listen, I like the fact, don't be afraid to flex on people like you are. If you're going to keep that,
Confidence
you got
is
that
key all the time.
No, confidence is key. I like it that you have that. You're exactly
But
like
you
my
had
son
we
Mason,
had to
100%.
pry what was out there out of him on the
Because
air.
he's trying to, like, he's got people
I'm gonna act
watching.
professional.
He's trying to, when the mics go off, we'll hear all of a sudden,
Yeah,
he'll turn into like a wrestler again, cutting a promo. It'll start all over again. But now, you see how it is on the radio now. You have to be able to, if you want to be Stephen A. Smith, you're going to have, did
gotta
Skip
find a
Bayless make a
balance.
bunch of money being quiet? Did Nick Wright make a bunch of money being quiet?
You're going to have to find a balance
Yeah.
of what you think is over the top and what isn't. Because
It's good that you have now. It is good that in your mind you think, I got to be careful. That's good. You can't just run through and just not be careful. But at the same time, that balance of, look at that. You think Shannon Sharp is careful? No. You think Stephen A. is careful? No.
Not anymore. They're not.
Stephen A. wouldn't be where he was if he was careful. Maybe when he was just writing, he could do that, but he's not a journalist anymore. He can do what he
Kind
wants.
of careful for a while, but also
Broadcasters are journalists.
Like
though.
you've got a lot.
He
You've got a lot.
He doesn't
of confidence.
operate as a journalist anymore.
Who's going to
No, he
win the?
doesn't, but-
Who's going to win the NBA Finals
this year?
Yeah.
See, now if we're gonna talk NBA, I could talk about this.
We're
for
not going
hours.
to.
We're
I
not
just
going
want
to.
you to
Just
say
a
one name.
straight answer. Mavs or
Okay,
Celtics.
that's it. Turn his mic
Ma-
off.
Mavs
You
or
had your
Celtics.
chance.
I'll go.
You
Mavs.
haven't even thought
Mavs.
about this.
Mavericks.
You should already
I
have
ha-
your takes
I'm
ready
just- I'm
and your
just-
opinions
You
set.
think? But the thing is, I'm
it's
very.
only 9 days till we get a game in.
I'm just very back and forth with the two teams because if Porzingis comes,
This isn't a podcast, son. This is a radio.
You
show.
got a podcast for that.
You've had it. You got your
Speaking
chance.
of
You told
podcasts,
people.
I have my own podcast, the H-Town Rundown. Shout out.
Shout out to what? Your podcast?
You mentioned it earlier, so I'm just gonna mention it now because we're talking about podcasts.
All right, H-Town Rundown. There it
Are-
is. Do you want to give your IG or your Twitter out? People will follow you. Well, they'll
You don't want
send you
that. You don't
messages.
want those types of people following.
Yeah.
you.
Do you want it? No, you can right now.
You can do it, but I'm just saying. You may not want that type of attention from those particular people.
See, King of all
Dale
Twitch
has
said he's
experience.
growing on me.
Good.
Shady. He's shady 10 to 12. Oh, that's Dell.
I'm not shady.
Accountant shady. See,
Hey,
he made himself look dumb. Tried-
that's got to be anti-Semitic.
what is?
Accountant shady?
That's not
Yeah, hey,
anti-Semitic.
hey, no, that's got.
I swear, this is what Mason is. I deal with this every day of my life.
Then why'd you want more of it at work?
I didn't realize how fully Mason he was, but he will. Mason will come up and dap me up at night when he's going to bed. What's up? He goes, "Good night, King."
He said
Good
that,
night,
that one
King.
Like that.
That
Yeah.
one person said he want that Twitter smoke. I actually reached out to Roosh on Twitter trying to get blocked by him because Roosh blocks every Rockets fan that
a guy-
disagrees.
he's a guy who would block you.
Yeah, no, I tried disagreeing with him on purpose to see if I'd get blocked.
Apparently, the intern has elicited conversation from the people.
Mhm.
You got people calling in.
Well, you'll have to go out there and listen from out there. We can't.
I've-
I mean, unless they demand conversation with you. 713-780-3776. It's 9:17 now. Don't get too comfortable in that chair, King. You've still got work to do. I want to talk about Daspit Law. This is called a live spot. Talking about John Daspit and the Daspit Law Firm. Daspit Law is your company for personal injury law. If you've been injured out on the roadway, out in the water, a lot of times it's people with refinery blasts, people from the Astro world, the terrible accident that happened, or the issues with people with loss of life and injuries. John Daspit's working on all those cases, and he's got 12 offices in the state of Texas. He's got about 70 lawyers working. The reason he hires so many lawyers is because he wants them to spend time on your cases. That means over the weekend. That means late at night. He wants them putting in that work so you get the best settlement possible. All of your bills are going to be paid for, your hospital bills, time missed from work, your pain and suffering. Everything is accounted for from a guy who does not treat you like a number. He understands that this is a traumatic time for you, for your family, and he wants to make sure that you are treated properly, whether it is a serious injury or loss of life or an accident on the roadway. John Daspit's got your back. Make sure that you give him a call at 713-CALL-NOW. That's 713-CALL-NOW, or go to DaspitLaw.com.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Very good. See, Sam, that's how, or did you do that, Sam? Pull up NBA Youngboy, or did that's all, Sam? At work? Here we go. See, Sam, I like that you got a little flavor that you immediately came in and you commented. You could read him too. You knew what he was about.
She's heard him.
She knows. Did you feel like the one we got on the radio that the
initial one,
Ryan, we got on the radio was the same one you've heard?
Which one?
When he first
what's his name?
opened
Ryan.
his
Right?
mic,
Brian.
yeah. When he opened his mouth on the mic, is that the energy he gives when he's out there talking?
No, absolutely not.
No, it isn't. I got to be professional. Has he listened to this show?
I know. He comes in.
It's funny though. As soon as he got off, he just went right back.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Ryan's out here code switching is what he's doing.
Yeah, he code switches for radio for sure. No, it was a school that I could
further my education.
That I could give myself more time to pursue my and give me a chance to really thrive in journalism.
Yeah,
it's a special ed school you got into so you could get good grades.
That's what he called. That's what he told us.
Stop, son.
I don't know if he.
I respect your hustle, but stop.
I don't know if he was just telling the story for the likes, for the spice of it all when he was off
I don't
air.
think he is.
But what he told us initially is the only reason he was on. If he would have told us what the story we got on the air, he would have just stayed out there. We wouldn't have had him come in.
Yeah, but he believes in himself.
Clearly.
Now let's see if this is true. There's somebody. Now he said he runs a podcast name, or his podcast is H-Town Rundown.
That's the name of Ryan's
Talking
podcast.
basketball. And there's someone named Jules Jefferson who is on hold who has comments on it. What's up, Jules?
What's up, Lance? What's going on? How y'all doing today?
Good. How we doing?
I'm good. So he's saying that he runs the H-Town Rundown podcast.
Yeah.
Is that the basketball version or the football version? Because we have two versions that we run down with AD, Michael Garfield, and Chris Royal. That we had the same situation where that 16 used some of my clips and didn't give us the right acknowledgement that it was our clips when we had Diamond, the wide receiving coach.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to see out what's going on with this. Our name being dropped everywhere and no one's giving us credit for who we truly are.
Well, I pulled up the H-Town Rundown podcast on you. Just typed it in with our intern's name, and there is a channel for that podcast, and the intern, I can see him on it. So maybe maybe there are multiple podcasts with that name, but he does have one on YouTube.
I can see this. Nia Smith and Jules Jefferson may be Miami University student body president and vice president. That's you?
No, it's my name. It's St. John on the Twitter.
Well,
but it's AD and it's Michael Garfield and Chris Royal who runs the H-Town Rundown channel with Preston.
Well,
so I don't know who Ryan is.
Well, there's two of them because I'm looking. Like I said, his channel is up on YouTube right now.
There's double H-Town Rundowns?
Yeah, and it's a basketball podcast. So I don't know who has rights to that name.
So yours is not just a basketball podcast.
No, we're talking Texans and we talk basketball and Roughnecks too.
Yeah, this one.
So y'all are more legit.
This one looks exclusively like a basketball podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess the name is very – I guess a lot of people decided that was a good name to put on their podcast. And
He said he was on the Rockets one, the basketball one.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, Ryan? Yeah, Ryan has
do y'all have multiple ones?
Ryan has a –
Jules, are there multiple ones or is it on the same podcast?
It's the same podcast that covers basketball and football.
Oh, no. He's got a different one.
Yeah, you guys, I guess, have picked the same name. And there's a podcast that Ryan has named the same thing. Thanks, Jules.
Thanks, Jules.
I'm glad Ryan is bringing controversy to the show.
Mm-hmm. Already. Let's get I don't know what anti-Keith. Does that mean anti-Keith the caller?
Or just...
I don't know.
I don't know. There's an anti-Christ. Maybe he's this version.
He's an
for
anti-Keith.
Keith.
What's going on, anti-Keith?
Hey, assalamu alaikum, fellas. I am enjoying the holiday show. And, hey, Del, does it make me an ally now that I hashtag staying with Raheezy? Later.
No, Ryan, it doesn't make you an ally just because you like Raheel.
Who is that?
It's Ryan. He calls in this show with his real name, but since I guess I'm hosting, he's decided to go with his Mopey and Mates persona.
Hey, do you miss Gilbert, Sam? When you used to intern, you used to talk to Gilbert every once in a while, right? Okay. Gilbert, I just want to let you know, let's bring him in. Gilbert, Sam is the producer right now. I don't know if you remember talking to her.
Hello?
Hello?
Gilbert?
Lance?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Are you over there in Astros anyway?
Say that again?
No, they ain't going to win no more anyway. They could probably go last place for ever and ever and ever. You know?
You think that's it forever and ever and ever?
They're never winning any more games?
Well, not the last 3 games anyway, you know. Oh, you still got my Colleen Wolf picture?
I already sent it. It got mailed.
He has your address.
What?
He mailed it.
It got mailed. As a matter of fact, you probably have it.
He wanted you to bring it.
It was sent to Gilbert Liu. 100%. It's in an envelope sent to Gilbert Liu. There is a picture that was sent to you on your address that Dell gave me. So I mailed it. So it should have actually I sent it like
When did you mail it? When did you
either
mail
Thursday
it?
or Friday.
It probably not there yet.
In Houston?
Yeah, takes a couple days.
Okay. It'll probably get there today, Gilbert.
All right.
Don't
then.
let your mom do you hold on, do you pull out the mail yourself or does your mom do it?
What?
Do you get the mail out of the mailbox or does your mom get it?
My mom gets it
Oh
anyway.
boy.
Well,
will she give you mail? Because I'm worried that it got thrown away. Because we're not doing
Okay.
this again. Check with your mom and find out if she's already pulled some mail in for you. Do you get mail?
Yeah, I get mail that last Thursday or Friday.
I sent it either Thursday or Friday.
You
I think
don't
I sent it-
remember?
I think I sent it Friday.
So it's not there yet. Likely, in all likelihood.
Yeah, maybe not. But just ask your mom if something came for you.
Just wait for it. It'll show up, and if not, you can
No, if it's not, it's over.
you
It's
can
a
harass
wrap.
Lance for not coming through.
Well, next time if Colleen will come to Houston, bring it to my house like a picture order on that sound.
That sounds great. I think that's 100%
Can
gonna
you
happen.
bring NFL Network personalities to my house too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll check with her and see if next time that she's in town, if she's going to want to head to Clay and Gessner and stop in at your house.
Bring Colleen Wolf to my house.
Yep. Bring her to my house.
Why do you want her at your house?
Picture.
What? Why do you want Colleen Wolf at your house?
He wants.
Take a picture with her.
Yeah.
anyway.
Oh,
I
so
can't-
you want to be in the picture this time?
Yeah.
Isn't that going to ruin things for you to look at your own face while you're?
Mm-mm. Okay. Nope. Sam. Hey, by the way, do you remember our intern Sam?
What?
Oh,
Don't
it's
ask
just
more questions.
Today's not the
It's not one of those days.
All right, Gilbert. Appreciate the
Thank you.
phone
Where's
call.
John at today? Where's John at today?
John is.
I don't know where John is actually.
John's just chilling.
He'll be back on Wednesday, Gilbert.
Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Talk
All right,
later.
we'll see.
Bye. Thank you. Does he really want his own face in the picture?
You guys put too much on him.
What?
You and John. This is why you're like
We do?
secretly really a bad person.
How am I a bad person? I asked a question, a reasonable question, considering what we think about him.
No, I just think Gilbert likes having pictures of pretty girls.
And he wants to.
He wants Colleen to come and he wants to be in the picture. And he wants her to come to his house on Clay Road in Gessner to drive all the way out there and get a picture. I'm not taking her there.
You would be a bad friend.
I'd get fired.
You can't. Yeah,
NFL Network for endangering people. Although I wouldn't. Gilbert's completely harmless
Yeah, but
and a
you
nice
can't-
guy.
You can't allow.
He's a nice guy who wants things.
Yeah, a lot of things. You can't allow a request from a listener to have you drive Colleen Wolf.
I can't do
someplace.
this. I'm friends with Colleen. Colleen would not think that's cool.
No one should think it's cool that she's going to come and say, "Hey, can I take you over to this guy's house?"
Do you think if Gilbert met Sam and Abigail that he would want them to go to his house for a picture?
Are they famous enough? Isn't he kind of like a fame
Yeah,
person too?
yeah, you do have. You're not famous enough yet. I mean, you could get there, but I
Just
don't know if
not right
Gilbert's
now. Yeah.
Still may not be with us.
I don't know if I want to go to Gilbert's house.
Well, you do.
You
It's
don't.
fun.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
It's fun. You do.
You don't. I don't think you'd enjoy your time because Gilbert is a little pushy.
Yeah,
he
makes demands.
You may be a guest in his home, and he'll ask you to get him a Diet Coke when
Yeah.
you're the guest.
Or he'll go to your
And
house.
he doesn't even
tell you.
remember my name.
Well, that too. That's a problem.
No, he won't remember.
No,
your
he
name.
won't.
100%.
Won't be a great experience.
All right, so there's that segment down. 713-780-3776. Are you doing a show today, or are you? Is it going to be Mike?
No, it'll be
Mike and the Mad Dog.
They don't do a show together. In fact, have they ever done a show together? Greenberg doesn't do a show.
Not
with
that Mike. Mike Francesa did.
No, I think Greeny will be on doing whatever he does.
And then Mapes doesn't have to come in until.
Yeah, it's a benefit for him. He doesn't
You're
have
both
to
welcome.
come in till later. Well, this is only happening because your buddy Eric wouldn't respond.
Mm-hmm.
So for today and tomorrow, I'll be here in the morning with Lance, and then we'll do national stuff from 10 to 12, and then when John's back on Wednesday, we'll be back to normal.
We're going to play some audio when we get back. We got a couple fun things that I want to get to when we come back, and if you guys want to jump in at all, I don't know. If you want to say something about the Astros, go ahead, 713-780-3776. But if not, I got some stuff for you. And one other conversation I had over the weekend that I'm going to bring up to you, Dale, about the college football landscape that I found to be a little bit troubling. It's 9:31 here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. I want to tell you about my air conditioning company, Vanderford Air. It's great because when you call Vanderford Air, 281-557-COOL, COOL, they don't charge you to come out there at odd times or whatever. There's no overtime rates. There's no emergency rates. They're the same rates all the time. They'll come out there. They'll figure out what's going on and they'll fix it. Now, a great thing that you can do right now, I mean, it's hot. It's already hot. You missed your time. If you're air conditioner and you're like, oh my gosh, this is already miserable. I need to be ready for this summer heat. It's getting bad. My home is already not cooling great. It's only going to get worse. So have Vanderford Air come out there. They can give you a checkpoint system where they go through the entire AC system, tell you exactly what's going on. They find out how well it's cooling in each individual room to make sure it's cooling the way it's supposed to. And then they can start making the corrections they need to, find what's going on, and fix it for you. And if you know that you're getting close to needing a new AC, they can give you a fix-it price and a replace-it price. And when you replace it, they have financing available, and they redo all the lines in your home. I mean, you are going to be cool and comfortable and more efficient with your AC. It's vanderfordair.com or call 281-557-COOL.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Lamar Jackson has decided F that $750,000. Because voluntary workouts are voluntary, but they still have value. For some players, that holds monetary value, as is the case with reigning NFL MVP Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens star quarterback, has been absent for most of his OTAs, and it has cost him $750,000 in workout bonuses.
And this was a guy who was trying to squeeze as much as he could out of the Ravens. But,
Yeah.
when it came down to it, some of it's not that important. I'm just not going to show up.
Some of it is just a little bit of a power play, just to get it to a certain number. And he decided that he doesn't care about that number. So what do you think about him being down? Did you see the size? How he's down to his normal Louisville size, 205. I think last year was about 215. Oh, no, actually, he said he was a lot. I think he was like 220. He was more muscular and bigger.
I think in 2022, he might have been at his heaviest as a player.
2022, you're
and
right.
Then 2023, he dropped weight, and now he's dropped even more weight. Does it mean that he will run less?
He's going to be quicker.
He'll be quicker, but does it mean there'll be less design runs with Todd Monk in there? They won't be featuring him as much.
I mean, I don't care if he weighs 230 or 205. Like, I want Lamar running, but I don't want to call a ton of called runs. I want to do it few and far between, but you can't just have him stop running. That eliminates a huge part of his value. So just avoid big hits. I don't know that. I mean, he was healthy last year, so that was good. And he was at a heavier weight, but obviously he doesn't feel either doesn't feel comfortable at that weight, or he's having a hard time keeping that weight on, one or the other. But he's noticeably smaller now. So I don't think it's a big deal him playing at 205. He won an MVP when he was at 205. So for me, it's about avoiding big hits. I don't think gaining weight makes you less. You can take hits on. I always hear that all the time. I just think taking a lot of NFL hits just wears you down anyway. I don't care if you weigh 205 or 220. It's not good for him to take a bunch of hits. But at the same time, he's got to keep running. So you just have to be careful. You just have to hope he knows how to get down, which generally speaking he does.
He's done a good job of that. Yeah, the leg injuries were a problem in 2022 and 2021. Found a way to stay healthy. 2023 validates the money they gave him. Of course, he wins the MVP. But the Ravens had their, I guess you could say a typical, not a flame out, but you lose at home to the Chiefs. You have everything in your favor. Your defense is playing great. You just don't get enough plays on offense, and Zay Flowers contributed to that with that fumble going into score that kind of turned that game around. So 205, like I said, I'm not that concerned. He's a guy who's never taken big hits. He'll be fine. The lower leg stuff, it's something he's always going to have to worry about. It has less to do with weight and just the fact that he's going to be out on the perimeter running around, and some guys are going to get you down in different ways, and tackling him low is probably your best bet. So those injuries are probably always going to be a bit of a concern.
Are you interested in EA Sports College Football 25?
Yes, my show talks about it quite a bit.
Okay. Have you seen some of the songs that are going to be in there?
Yes, there's some that aren't, but they did get licensing for a lot. The game is going to be a lot about beyond the gameplay, the presentation, all the moments that happen.
They have not asked me to be a voice in that yet.
It's surprising, considering how you just had to turn off your mic to cough. Surprisingly,
Right.
They haven't asked you. But the game's about the presentation. All the little things for college football fans that happen in your home stadium are going to happen for the most part in the game. So if there's a chant that the crowd does on third down after you get a stop, you're going to hear
Firing
that.
cannons?
You're going to hear that in the game. Yeah, if you score a touchdown, you're going to fire the cannon. I'm sure we'll see Uga attempt to bite an Auburn player at some point. So yeah, a lot of it is about the music. Just in some instances, they couldn't get the license, or they refused to because of how expensive it would be to pay Metallica to get Enter the Sandman for Virginia Tech.
They won't have Enter Sandman or Jump Around, that's too bad, because that would be great for Wisconsin. But you don't really have a between quarters. But I guess the game could stop, and it would do that automatically.
They'll have, from what I've,
or you could run through it.
Yeah,
I guess.
well, from what I've seen is they'll have your play call window up, some stats up, and then they'll have the in stadium moments happen in a different screen. Like, we will see the Iowa players waving at the kids in the hospital. That'll be in the game. That Iowa players do at the end of a quarter. I don't know if it's the first or second. So that's in the game. You'll have the whiteouts at Penn State and depending on like when they play a Big Ten opponent, depending on if Tennessee is playing a major opponent at home, you'll have their checkerboard set up in the stands. They're getting all that stuff in.
How's the gameplay look?
It looks good. I mean, the gameplay trailer came out a couple Fridays ago, or maybe it was just last Friday. I don't remember.
Mitchell Schwartz went off on.
Yeah,
they're not even doing inside zone blocking.
He took an issue with the
then,
angle the running back.
God, did they come out?
And everyone's like, "Hey, Mitchell, can you just let us have this, please? It's a game we've been waiting for over a decade." He went on to say, "This is why I don't even play it anymore." Well, I don't know if it's made for guys who know the intricacies of offensive line play. It's a lot of the stuff is going to drive a football player of your ilk crazy because it's a video game and it's supposed to be entertaining.
Yeah, maybe your offensive linemen were dumb and they didn't get to the blocks.
Well, he blamed
the right blocks.
He blamed it on the takeoff angle of the running back.
No, I saw it. All right, so Sam has some of the songs. Let me see if we've got 3 of the 6 songs. Here's one of the songs.
16-year-old. They took it to 10.
This is my favorite song to just say random lyrics at my house and watch my kids lose their mind.
Mo Bamba?
Yeah.
I've never heard the clean version of this song.
I know you're very nervous.
Check West. It plays at the start of Penn State's home games. So that's why they got it in, because apparently there's in this year's game or last year's game, and the real one, Michigan went into Penn State, and coming out of the huddle from the first kickoff, that song played, and it led to a delay of game penalty as the crowd was going crazy during the whiteout game. So they put that song in the games partly because of that moment. So a lot of the moments that it's
been around, and
a
lot of people
Check West
use
has
it.
been around a long time.
Yeah, a lot of people use it in the stadium.
That song in particular. Mo
Here's
Bamba.
here's the second of 6 that we already know are going to be here. See if you know this one.
I've heard that song. We'll get it back going. What's it for? Is it just for that gets played in all the stadiums,
Stadium
right?
Rock.
Yeah.
Sandstorm.
Yeah.
Never would have known this was the name of the song, but I've heard it a lot.
It gets played everywhere. Gets the crowd jumping.
And they got a little drop in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Okay, now we'll go to the third song. See if you've heard this song. Here's song number 3, which maybe is Tsunami, but I'm not sure. Once again, I don't know the names. Well, I know one of them is Neck.
Yeah, well, the clean version of Neck will be in the game. Or maybe the instrumental
and every
version.
LSU fan is going to yell
Yeah, well, of course.
their stuff.
Bleep that, bleep
Here's
that,
the
bleep.
third
Yeah.
song. Sam's, there it is. Do you know the song?
Did they tell you what team it's associated
What
with?
song is this?
Zombie Nation?
Is this the beginning of Zombie Nation? Yeah, I guess. Are we sure? Maybe there's multiple different versions of Zombie Nation. I don't recognize.
Although it sounds like it could be played more in a club than probably at a game.
Zombie Nation gets played a lot, but maybe this particular part of it doesn't get played in the stadiums.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
That's what Zombie Nation is?
Yes.
I did not know that was the name of it.
I never heard the name. I never heard I don't know. Yeah. We all know these songs. So those are the 3 you pulled, right? Then there's Tsunami. There's Neck, that LSU fans say a very bad word. And then Wave on Wave. I don't know Wave on Wave. But I bet we would know every single one.
I bet we've heard it in the stadium before, definitely.
So those are 6 songs that are confirmed.
Wave on Wave,
there.
is that the Pat Green song, Wave on Wave? Or is it I didn't know Pat Green was so closely associated with college football that one of his songs from back in 2003.
Oh, probably like Tennessee.
Maybe.
I bet
Maybe
it
a
is.
Southern school, yeah.
Yeah, it is Pat Green. How the hell did you know Wave on Wave by Pat Green? I don't even know that song. That's probably like Tennessee plays it.
How I knew it? Because Google exists. I didn't know that off the top.
Oh, okay. You Googled it.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if you knew that.
No, I just Googled it.
So before we get to News of the Weird, I've got a few News of the Weirds. A couple of other things I want to mention here on from a sports thing. Did you see Tommy Pham?
Yeah,
So Tommy Pham, White Sox outfielder, and Tommy doesn't handle things well in general.
No.
He's rocked up. He's got a mad attitude. He's known for slapping Jock Peterson in the face over a fantasy football debt. He's a likes to fight guy.
He is. He didn't let it be known. He explained why he works out in the off season, or he gets his fight training in the off season, not just to stay in shape in baseball shape. He says it's because if someone wants to fight me during the season, I'm ready.
Here's what he said. He goes, 1-run ball game, close play at the plate. Actually, it wasn't even effing close. It was a shallow fly ball to left. You would expect the left fielder to throw the base runner out on that play. In that situation in the game, third base coach sends you, you have to go. So he's basically saying, not my fault.
Yep.
I am nailed out at home by a mile. I'm going to the dugout, and I hear this tough guy with all this hoorah ship. I will never start anything, but I will be prepared to finish it. There is a reason why I do all kinds of fighting in the offseason, because I'm prepared to F somebody up. You can take it. You can take it as what it is. So Tommy Pham is looking to fight Wilson Contreras. He did kind of go out of his way. I'm sure Wilson Contreras was not happy that Wilson was in front of the plate like you have to be now, and Tommy slid into him in the front of the plate. So I'm sure Wilson's like, hey, man, I'm here because I can't be there, and you slide into me. Now, he didn't try to take him out or anything like that, but that's also one of those unwritten rules of baseball that you don't – if I'm out of the base pass and I'm giving you a clear run, you don't run into me in that spot. But Tommy Pham already told you, I fight in the offseason so that I can F people up.
I'm ready to go. And they had to talk him down, and he kept looking back, and so it didn't go away. We heard it in the post game. I was, oh, okay, Tommy. He goes, the announcers were like, yeah, we're the White Sox. We're not going to take that from the Brewers.
No, the announcer's like, I don't care how many L's we have. You're not taking that from the Brewers.
Of all teams,
and
the Brewers.
Announcer said that. I don't care how many L's we have. Okay, whatever, bro.
You're not fighting.
Dell's fantasy kicker, Brandon McManus, was released from Washington Commanders for publicly alleged sexual assault from an incident that occurred when he was a member of Jacksonville when he was getting a little extra. He's accused of getting a little extra with a couple of flight attendants.
Yeah,
so,
on a trip.
I
don't know if they were coming back from London or going to London. It was one of the one of the Jaguars' London games.
Because one of the flight attendants said, I just stayed upstairs. The flight coming home, I didn't even want to be around them.
Okay, so it's their private plane then, and the Jags are flying private, and so I'm sure these are women flight attendants he's seen before, and he just decided to completely disrespect them and go beyond that, and now the Commanders have released them.
I will say one thing. Somebody just said that. They said, hey, on your college football game, are they going to have Harvey Updike come on to point?
It feels unlikely.
But you know what they should have is Paul Feinbaum, and you should have his real callers making real calls recorded into the game where you can listen to the Paul Feinbaum show.
They have to pay Paul Feinbaum money. I'm not sure. They paid some
I'll bet you
ESPN
he's
personnel. No, he's not. He would have been mentioned. They paid a number of ESPN personnel. Like Chris Fowler's going to be on the big national games. They're actually going to have a second broadcast team for the games that aren't as big, but yeah, if you remember, the women in college football who do sideline stuff, like, hey, when all these guys are announcing they're in the game, hey, EA, we're a big part of college football too. It'd be nice to be included. They weren't included. EA said, maybe next time, I guess.
Jesse Palmer will be in it.
Yeah.
David Pollock,
who doesn't even
Reese
work.
Davis.
There are a lot of guys. They went, and Desmond Howard to be in the game too.
I'm fixing to be pissed off if somebody's in it.
Molly McGrath wasn't thrilled.
How you know?
Because she went on Twitter and talked about how, hey, I've been a big part of college football, and other women spoke about it too through their accounts and say, EA, we'd love to be part of the game. EA was like, yeah, we know you would. We take that under advisement. We're still not going to pay you.
We know you would.
So that was.
I'll be in it for free. Y'all don't have to pay me anything.
No one wants you around.
Let me do some draft stuff. I tell you what, guys, he's got great hips.
No one's looking for that. But what they are looking for is Billy Brown at Aqueduct Plumbing Company.
Aqueduct Plumbing Company.
This is not for you, it's for me.
Oh who cares?
So disrespectful.
Aqueduct's still a good company. Let me just say that in advance.
Thank you. AqueductPlumbingCompany.com is a great company, not just a good one. When you get home today, you want to turn the faucet on and you expect the water to come out. You expect it to be clean. You know what happens when it isn't clean? Probably have bad pipes, and Aqueduct Plumbing Company are the experts when it comes to repiping. They've done over 1,000 of those. They have local contractors who will take care of you. And also, if you don't exactly know what the problem is, they got the free best price quote in town. You want to call them, it's 281-488-6238. 281-488-6238. Aqueduct Plumbing Company takes care of you, whether it be repiping or, hey, maybe you got a bad water heater. They'll take care of that too. A leaky faucet, They're there for you. Billy Brown, based in the Clear Lake area. Local people taking care of the local customer. AqueductPlumbingCompany.com. That's AqueductPlumbingCompany.com.
I'll make this one quick. We don't have a lot of time, so I'll get to the very best one. There's a new castor oil TikTok trend that could cause explosive diarrhea. Experts warn that's a dangerous myth. To detox the body, there are people on TikTok using castor oil, which is a laxative. Do you plan on getting involved in this trend, El?
No, I don't really follow TikTok trends at all. Certainly not the one that involves me drinking castor oil. Seems like something I can avoid. I don't really deal with the talkers, you know.
Mm-hmm. You're not you don't mess with TikTok.
No, I mean, you do a cute little dance, whatever. That's fine. I know you only
No
fan,
TikToks
you only
for you.
fan women use TikTok as a promotional tool.
It's fine.
But it's fine. But I'm out.
You ever
I don't
sneeze
need
hard
it.
and hurt yourself?
Not hurt myself. You know, I've done things to wrench my back when I didn't expect it, but never
Okay.
sneeze.
Well, the femur is considered the hardest or second hardest bone in the human body, but a 35-year-old man in China allegedly managed to break it just by coughing. Doctors at the Second People's Hospital of Fujian Province in China recently reported the shocking case of a 35-year-old man referred to only as Mr. Yi, who suffered a fractured femur during a coughing fit. You might need some milk, sir, if you're fracturing a bone coughing.
Sounds like something you might do. Cough and hurt yourself.
It does in a funny little jokey way, but not in real life, Del.
No, I don't think you'd break a bone, but maybe pull something, a nerve, pinch a nerve.
Oh, what about this? A Nebraska mortuary worker was charged, and Sam, I'm sorry to read this. I know you're still young and you don't need to hear things like this, but a Nebraska mortuary worker is charged with burglary after attempting to smuggle a sex doll from a dead man's house. Named Mr. Lou.
Not Mr. Lou.
No.
Not Mr. Gilbert Lou.
No. That's not what you should do. Don't do that. I don't recommend doing that.
What you should do is end the show on time.
Would that be right now?
Yes.
All right, that's right now. For Del, for Lance, for Sam, that's going to do it. Coming up next, you've got Mike Greenberg and the wonderful people of ESPN.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Breaking news, a technical issue has occurred on the New York Stock Exchange, causing the A-class shares of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway to appear to be down nearly 100%. Trading was halted in those shares. The NYSE had announced it was investigating a technical issue earlier this morning related to the limit up and limit down bands, which are mechanisms to halt stocks for excessive volatility. Spotify has announced it will be increasing the cost of its premium subscription plans in the U.S. This will be the streaming giant's second price hike in less than a year. Each tier option will be increasing anywhere between $1 to $4 per month. Spotify users will be notified about the new change to their subscription within the next 30 days. Shares of Spotify were up more than 5% in pre-market trading. Stocks are mixed. The Dow Industrials down 170, the Nasdaq up 47, the S&P 500 down 5. Once again, stocks are mixed. That's Your Money Now.